Chapter 189. The fallen mountain seemed to be very close, but it was actually dozens of miles away from the main road. While walking on this road, Yi-chan felt that horrible pressure. The negative emotions in his heart had been magnified by a couple of times without him noticing, and it even made him feel like he was hallucinating. Activating his sword intent, Yi-chan killed all of those negative emotions, then turned his head to look at Murong Qingqing. She seemed to have gotten used to the pressure from the fallen mountain, so she didn't seem to be affected at all. Vaguely, Yi-chan also felt that there was an even more mysterious power in her body, which was fighting against the pressure from the fallen mountain. Strange. Yi-chan was confused. Not long after, the two of them left the mountain of death behind, and the oppressive feeling instantly disappeared. The martial city was located in the west of the Black Dragon Empire, in the middle of the heavy, mysterious mountain. Before they even got close to the heavy, mysterious mountain, Yi-chan felt that the gravity had increased. This increase was very subtle, and without great perception, it would be hard to notice. At first, Yi-chan didn't pay much attention to it, but as they got closer and closer to the heavy, mysterious mountain, the gravity became even heavier. Finally, he couldn't help but ask, "Is there something wrong with the gravity in the heavy, mysterious mountain?" "You found it." Indeed, the gravity in the heavy, mysterious mountain is much stronger than the outside world, and the closer we are to the center, the stronger the gravity is. "We haven't entered the heavy, mysterious mountain yet," Murong Qingqing explained. "Really?" Murong Qingqing smiled. It was the first time she came to the heavy, mysterious mountain, and she was just as shocked as Yi-chan. Later on, she didn't pay much attention to it. The true spirit continent was vast, and there were many things that couldn't be explained. For example, why did the ancient inheritance land become a world of its own? And why didn't it allow people who were over 24 years old to enter? This kind of method had already surpassed the power of life and death realm warriors. Half an hour passed. The two officially entered the outer area of the heavy, mysterious mountain. Such a strong gravity, at least 3 times stronger than the outside world. Yi-chan suddenly lost control of his strength and left a few deep footprints on the ground. On the other hand, Murong Qingqing's steps were no different from normal. Taking a deep breath, Yi-chan adjusted himself according to the gravity so that he would not leave any footprints. On the way, Yi-chan ran into quite a few groups of martial artists. Most of them were above the clasping yuan realm. Condensing reality realm martial artists were rarely seen. "Look, isn't that Murong Qingqing? Oh, is that brat next to him? How can he walk together with Murong Qingqing? I've never seen him before. He doesn't look like a disciple of the sky, flying demon sect. I'm so envious." Murong Qingqing is one of the 2 great beauties of the Black Dragon Empire. He would be satisfied even if he spoke a few words with her. What virtue or ability does he have to walk side by side with Murong Qingqing? This kid is dead for sure. There are hundreds and thousands of young people who are infatuated with Murong Qingqing. Any one of them could crush him to death. You're right. Let's wait for a good show. The heavy, mysterious mountain was not very big. Within an hour, Yi-chan and Murong Qingqing had reached the deepest part of the mountain. The gravity here was unprecedentedly strong, almost 10 times stronger than the outside world. According to Yi-chan's estimation, flying in the sky would consume Zhun Qi dozens of times faster than the outside world. Even clasping yuan realm martial artists would not be able to fly for long, and astral-reaching realm martial artists would also be slowed down. The entrance to the martial city is at the top of the mountain, Murong Qingqing said. Yi-chan was surprised. The entrance is at the top of the mountain? We'll know when we get there. When they reached the top of the mountain, Yi-chan finally understood what Murong Qingqing meant. The martial city was actually located on a magnificent mountain. This mountain seemed to have its top cut off by a sword, leaving only a flat cross-section. The cross-section had a diameter of over 100 miles. Around the cross-section was a bottomless abyss, completely isolated from the outside world. There were only 2 ways to enter the martial city. One was to fly with one's cultivation. However, the gravity above the abyss was way too strong. Yi Chun had just seen a rank 4 flying demonic beast being dragged into the abyss by the sudden increase of gravity when it was gliding in the sky, leaving nothing behind. The second way was to use the chains in front of them. There were thousands of chains floating above the abyss. These chains were as thick as a person's thigh, connecting the two places. "Let's go." Murong Qingqing's body flashed and landed on the chain. Immediately, Zhan Qi spurted out from her heels, pushing her to the other end of the chain at an extremely fast speed. Following her example, Yi Chun followed closely behind Murong Qingqing. When they reached the center of the abyss, Yi Chun felt the sudden increase of gravity. It was at least 30 times, no, 50 times, a whole 50 times. No wonder even rank 4 flying demonic beasts couldn't fly over here. If a normal clasping Yuan realm martial artist tried to fly over here, he would probably end up the same as a rank 4 flying demonic beast. Swoosh, swoosh. The two landed on the cross-section of the mountain outside the Martial City. The Martial City was bigger than the Wild Wind City and the Forgotten City in the Windy Nation. It was over 70 miles in both width and length, and the city wall was over 300 meters tall. This height was not built randomly, because according to the gravity here, no martial artist below the late clasping Yuan realm could fly over 300 meters. Outside the wide city gate, there were 2 rows of guarding martial artists. Murong Qingqing reminded them, the entrance fee is 1 low-rank soul stone, and the exit fee is also 1 low-rank soul stone. Even leaving the city requires a soul stone. The entrance fee of 1 low-rank soul stone was indeed very high, but Yi Chun had already gotten used to it. After all the people in the martial city were martial artists. Once you entered the city, you would be able to buy a lot of things that you couldn't normally see, which was very attractive to martial artists. It was understandable that the entrance fee was very high, but leaving the city also required a fee, which confused him. Murong Qingqing said there are a lot of rules in the martial city. This is just one of them. After paying the 2 low-rank soul stones, the two entered the martial city. The first impression that Yi Chun got from the buildings inside the martial city was that it was huge and magnificent. Any ordinary building was at least 10 meters tall, and those restaurants were like tall towers, standing in every corner of the city. They were extremely eye-catching, and the streets were even wider, almost able to accommodate hundreds of people walking side by side. At this moment, Yi Chun felt like he had arrived at the capital of the giants. The second rule of the martial city is that fighting is strictly prohibited. Anyone who violates this rule will be thrown into jail, depending on the severity of the offense. Those who violate this rule will be killed on the spot. Until now, there has never been an exception. Hearing this, Yi Chun said, the martial city is a city of martial artists, so there should be a powerful person guarding it, right? Murong Qingqing nodded. The mayor of the martial city is a Sea of Souls realm martial artist. A Sea of Souls realm martial artist, no wonder. If astral-reaching realm martial artists were powerful martial artists, then Sea of Souls realm martial artists were powerful martial artists. Every single move of theirs had the power to change the terrain. With a powerful Sea of Souls realm martial artist as the mayor, anyone who dared to mess around would be looking for death. There was a reason why the street was so wide. Once he entered the city, Yi Chun saw a lot of martial artists setting up stalls on both sides of the street. There were all kinds of stalls. There were bookshelves, animal skins, tables, and even huge rocks shaped like counters. It was a dazzling sight. Murong Qingqing said, if you want to set up a stall, you need to spend 100 low-rank soul stones to get a stall license. Otherwise, it would be against the rules, and the punishment would be very heavy. Normally, when there are not too many things to sell, no one would set up a stall. Most people would choose to trade privately. Are there no shops in the martial city? Yi Chun asked. There are, but the shops rarely sell treasures. Most of them are pellet shops and normal weapon shops, and then there are restaurants and tea houses. Of course, if you have thousands of treasures, you can rent or buy a shop. Unfortunately, the treasures that an individual has are limited. It would be more worthwhile to set up a stall at midnight. After all, the stall license only costs 100 low-rank soul stones. In the city, there were a lot of patrolling martial artists going back and forth to check if anyone was violating the rules. Those martial artists who were more powerful than them did not dare to talk back to them. They were afraid that if they offended the patrolling martial artists, it would be a huge loss for them. When passing by some stalls, Yi-chan found that not everyone wanted to trade with soul stones. Some of the martial artists had two prices. One was the price of soul stones, and the other was the price of gold. However, the price of gold was obviously on the higher side. For example, a spirit plant would cost 10 low-rank soul stones, which was equivalent to 4,000 gold. However, the price of gold was more than 4,000 gold, reaching 6,000 gold. Regarding this, Yi-chan had his own opinion. In a martial city, gold should not be valued too much. Soul stones were what everyone needed. Therefore, if you wanted to buy something with gold, you should not care about it. No one would force you to buy it anyway. Coming to a bookshelf stall, Yi-chan took a look. All of them were secret manuals. The top two layers were for top-rank Mortal Realm secret manuals, and the bottom two were for low-rank Earth Realm secret manuals. Yi-chan asked, "How much are these secret manuals?" The owner of the stall was a mid-clasping Yuan realm martial artist. He glanced at Yi-chan and said in a neutral tone, "Top-rank Mortal Realm secret manuals are all 80 low-rank soul stones. Low-rank Earth Realm secret manuals have their own prices." Hearing this, Yi-chan looked down. The cheapest low-rank Earth Realm secret manual was worth 6,000 low-rank soul stones, and the most expensive one was 13,000 low-rank soul stones. There were 5 secret manuals here, and the total value was more than 40,000 low-rank soul stones. It was not a small fortune. Yi-chan was speechless. The martial city was indeed the martial city. Even a small stall had a huge transaction volume. Yi-chan had no idea where the owner got so many secret manuals. Thinking that he still had dozens of secret manuals with him, Yi-chan thought to himself, "If I lack soul stones in the future, I can set up a stall in the martial city to sell them. Are you buying or not? If not, don't block the stall." The owner's face darkened. "I'm just taking a look." Yi-chan and Murong Qingsheng walked away. They didn't care about the owner's attitude. All the martial artists who set up stalls in the martial city were not ordinary people. There were good and bad personalities, and there were all kinds of people. You couldn't expect every powerful martial artist to be nice to you. After walking a few streets, Yi-chan still hadn't found a stall that sold great weapons. Most of the stalls were selling spirit herbs, strange metals, beast pellets, and secret manuals. Murong Qingsheng said, "There aren't many treasures in the outer city. Let's go to the trading palace in the inner city." Trading palace? The trading palace is the place with the most treasures in the martial city. Sometimes, astral-reaching realm martial artists would also choose to sell or buy treasures there. However, you have to be qualified to go in. You have to be at least a late-clasping Yuan realm martial artist, or a very wealthy person with more than 200,000 low-rank soul stones. You have more than 500,000 low-rank soul stones, so you're qualified. Chapter 190. Hearing Murong Qingsheng's words, Yi-chan naturally planned to go to the trading palace in the inner city to have a look. To enter the outer city, one would have to pay a low-rank soul stone, and to enter the inner city, it would be 100 times more 100 low-rank soul stones. Just this entrance fee alone was enough to keep most of the condensing reality realm warriors out. They were not that extravagant, throwing out 100 low-rank soul stones so casually. Most of them only had hundreds or thousands of low-rank soul stones in their pockets. After paying 200 low-rank soul stones, Yi-chan and Murong Qingsheng entered the inner city. 4 astral-reaching realm warriors drinking tea, and 2 astral-reaching realm warriors taking a walk. I saw 6 of them at once. It's unbelievable. Astral-reaching realm warriors were rarely seen in the outside world, but there were already 6 of them on one street in the inner city of the martial city. One of them had a cultivation that was even more horrifying than the Black Crow Man, which meant that he was most likely a mid-astral-reaching realm warrior. Isn't this Miss Murong? Among the 2 astral-reaching realm warriors taking a walk, the silver-haired elder looked over with a smile on his face. Murong Qingcheng said politely, "Greetings, Senior Diao." The silver-haired elder nodded and said, "Please send my regards to your sky-flying devil martial school's elderly. Tell him that I will play chess with him when I have time. But you have to tell him that he is not allowed to think for a long time before making a move. If I did not win the last game so quickly, I don't know how many days it would have taken." "Hee, I will tell elderly. But, Senior Diao, you have to be careful this time. Elderly has developed a special move that is specially used to deal with you." Murong Qingcheng smiled lightly. "All right, let him come. My cultivation is one level lower than his, but my chess skills are much better than his." The silver-haired elder laughed, then glanced at Yi Chun and teased, "Miss Murong, who is this? Don't tell me he is your sweetheart." Murong Qingcheng said, "He is my friend. His name is Yi Chun." "So it is a friend. Work hard." The silver-haired elder looked very kind, without the slightest bit of arrogance of an astral-reaching realm warrior. Instead, he was teasing Yi Chun. Seeing that he couldn't stay out of this, Yi Chun cupped his fists and said, "Greetings, seniors." The old man at the side nodded slightly and didn't say anything. The silver-haired old man waved his hand and said, "Go on with your business. We still have things to do. Take care, Senior Diao." Murong Qingcheng watched him leave. Yi Chun couldn't help but ask, "Who is this Senior Diao? His cultivation is very terrifying." Senior Diao doesn't belong to any sect, but he is very famous in the Black Dragon Empire. Among the martial artists of the same level, there are only a few who can beat him. His self-created mountain-shaking fist can shake a mountain into powder, so the martial artists of Jianghu call him Mountain-Shaking Elder, Murong Qingcheng said. To be able to turn a huge mountain into dust, it is indeed terrifying. There was a huge difference between smashing a mountain and shaking a mountain into powder. In the former, even 10 people would not be a match for Elder Jinshan. The trading hall was more than 5 miles in length and width. There were 4 entrances to the hall, and there were martial artists inspecting at each entrance. "You too, please show your spirit stones." Only those with more than 200,000 low-rank spirit stones are qualified to enter. The leading martial artists could see that the two of them didn't have the cultivation of late clasping Yuan realm, so he said in a neither servile nor overbearing manner. Yi Chun nodded. A dim light flashed on his storage ring, and a total of 20 big boxes landed on the ground. Each box contained 10,000 low-rank spirit stones. Indeed, there are 200,000 low-rank spirit stones. "You can enter now." Hearing this, Yi Chun put away the 20 big boxes and suddenly thought that Murong Qingcheng might not have 200,000 low-rank spirit stones. However, to his surprise, Murong Qingcheng didn't need to show her spirit stones at all. She took out a black jade tag from her storage ring, and the guard saw the jade tag and directly let her in. Our Sky-Flying Devil Martial School is a rank 6 martial institution. As long as you show your core disciple tag, you'll be able to enter the trading hall. Murong Qingcheng said. Yi Chun sighed. Super martial institutions indeed had a lot of face. Their core disciples could directly enter the trading hall, and their status was equivalent to that of late clasping Yuan realm martial artists. The inside of the hall was very spacious, and there were countless pillars made of jade. These pillars were hundreds of meters tall and 5 meters thick. Flowers, birds, insects, and fishes were carved on the surface. The floor of the hall was paved with very expensive green jade, which looked crystal clear and smooth. Walking on it would feel like walking on a calm ocean, and it would make one feel much more relaxed. As far as the eye could see, there was a crystal counter every 20 steps. The things inside the counters were all different. There were shining great weapons, demonic beast pellets that were releasing Yuan Qi, rare spirit herbs that emitted a strong spirit Qi, and even manuals. Right now, almost every crystal counter was surrounded by a group of martial artists. 80% of them were late clasping Yuan realm martial artists, and the rest were mostly early clasping Yuan realm or mid-clasping Yuan realm martial artists. Occasionally, some astral-reaching realm martial artists could be seen. Yi Chun roughly estimated that there were more than 50,000 clasping Yuan realm martial artists in the hall, which was an amazing number. Following the order of the crystal counters, the two walked and observed. Stopping in front of a crystal counter, Yi-chan saw the words written on it. Rank 6 demonic beast, 3-headed snake pellet, worth 50,000 low-ranked spirit stones. The 3-headed snake is only slightly weaker than the wind wolf. Normal peak level late, clasping yuan, realm martial artists are no match for it. I can't believe there's a 3-headed snake pellet for sale here. Yi-chan was very clear that the one who killed the 3-headed snake was most likely a late, clasping yuan realm martial artist. Astral reaching realm martial artists were not that bored. After all, 50,000 low-rank spirit stones were not that much for them. Furthermore, once they reached the astral reaching realm, low-rank spirit stones would no longer be enough for their normal training. Only mid-rank spirit stones could help them refine the yuan qi from the spirit stones faster. Murong Qingxiang said, "Don't underestimate all the martial artists in the world. Some of the less famous late, clasping yuan realm martial artists are even more powerful than the top 10 young martial artists in the hidden dragon rank. The wind wolf and the 3-headed snake are invincible existences for us, but for them, they might only need one attack to kill them. Killing the wind wolf with one attack. Is there anyone below the astral reaching realm who could do that?" As far as Yi Chen knew, the wind wolf was way more powerful than the leader of the Sky Cloud Martial School, Luo Xinglie. Luo Xinglie used to be an amazing martial genius, and now he was a peak-level late, clasping yuan realm martial artist. Stepping into the astral reaching realm is way too difficult. Although some people are already peak-level late, clasping yuan realm martial artists, they might be stuck at this level for the rest of their lives. Therefore, these people would spend a lot of time and effort to study the most powerful martial arts, pushing their own power to the limit. The power they could unleash would be extremely horrifying. You can't underestimate them just because they are not talented enough. Otherwise, you'll be in big trouble. Yi Chen nodded. No matter what, to be able to kill a peak-level 6 demonic beast, the 3-headed snake, this person is indeed very powerful. I am far from being able to compete with him. Right now, Yi Chen's power could only compete with normal late, clasping yuan realm martial artists at most. If he ran into a slightly more powerful late, clasping yuan realm martial artist, he would have to run away. If he ran into a peak-level late, clasping yuan realm martial artist, he probably wouldn't even be able to run away. Walking another few hundred meters, Yi Chen suddenly saw a bright red light in front of him. The dazzling red light was emitted from the 3rd crystal counter on the left. At the same time, a sharp and vigorous aura blew over, pressing down on his mind. The two of them looked over. Mid-rank artifact, Blood Sun Axe, worth 38,000 mid-rank spirit stones. Murong Qingxiang said in surprise, "Someone is selling a mid-rank artifact, but the price is too high. Not many people below the astral reaching realm can afford it." What's the usual price of a mid-rank artifact? Yi Chen could feel the power of this Blood Sun Axe. Once his soul power got close to it, it felt like it was going to be crushed. He hurriedly asked, "A normal mid-rank artifact is worth no less than 30,000 mid-rank spirit stones. This Blood Sun Axe should be a slightly better mid-rank artifact. A normal mid-rank artifact costs 30,000 mid-rank spirit stones. I remember that a mid-rank artifact can only increase one's attack power by 30 to 40%, while a low-rank artifact can also increase one's attack power by 10 to 20%. Why is the price difference more than 100 times?" Murong Qingxiang shook her head. "You have misunderstood. A low-rank artifact can increase a clasping yuan realm martial artist attack power by 10 to 20%. In the hands of an astral reaching realm martial artist, it would already be very difficult to increase it by 5%. However, a mid-rank artifact can increase an astral reaching realm martial artist attack power by 30 to 40%. The two cannot be compared. Unfortunately, mid-rank artifacts are very rare. Even the inner elders of my sky, Flying Devil Sect, rarely have one." "I see. Then what if a mid-rank artifact falls into the hands of a clasping yuan realm martial artist?" Yi Chen was very clear about normal items, but he only had a smattering of knowledge about these rare treasures. No one had ever told him about them, and they cannot be found in any books. As for astral-reaching realm martial artists, although they knew about them, you could not expect them to chat with you and tell you about some of the more advanced items. Moreover, Yi Chan was only familiar with Thunder Freer, and judging from his appearance, he did not have a mid-rank artifact either. It is very difficult for a clasping Yuan realm martial artist to bring out the full power of a mid-rank artifact. At most, their attack power can increase by 30 to 40%, which is the same as an astral-reaching realm martial artist. However, you have to be careful. Even if you have a mid-rank artifact, do not take it out. Some astral-reaching realm martial artists might even kill you and steal it. Thank you for the reminder. Yicha nodded. She was indeed a core disciple of a super martial institution. She knew a lot. Compared to her, Yichen's knowledge was very limited. Blood Sun Axe, my luck is not bad. A sturdy middle-aged man who looked to be in his 50s walked over, his eyes landing on the Blood Sun Axe. Yichen's pupils shrank. This person was an astral-reaching realm martial artist. Ding-ling-ling. The sturdy middle-aged man pulled the string on the crystal counter, and a crisp bell sound rang out from the wall behind the crystal counter. Soon, a door opened in the wall, and an old man with an aura as deep as the sea walked out. His Zhenyuan ripples seemed to be even more powerful than the sturdy middle-aged man's. You want to buy the Blood Sun Axe? Indeed. Seeing the two trading, Yi Chan shook his head. In the past, astral-reaching realm martial artists were rarely seen, but now they were everywhere in the martial city. He was already numb to it. The interior of the trading palace was very spacious. It was more than 5 miles in length and width, which was much bigger than some of the small towns in the outside world. The two were not in a hurry as they walked along the rows of crystal counters. Yeah, it's a low-rank sword. I finally found it. Yi Chen's soul power sensed a sharp sword aura. It was coming from 100 meters in front of him, and it was very clear. Let's go take a look. As he spoke, Yi Chen had already walked over, with Murong Qingchang following beside him. Chapter 191. There were 7 to 8 late, clasping Yuan realm warriors standing in front of the crystal counter. Most of them were just there to watch, while the rest were bargaining with the owner. This sword is too expensive. Can you make it cheaper? 20,000 low-rank soul stones. I will buy it. The owner was a middle-aged man in his 40s with a beard. He shook his head. 30,000 low-rank soul stones. No more, no less. How about 24,000 low-rank soul stones? This is all I have. The middle-aged man still shook his head. Seeing this, the few people who wanted to buy the sword felt helpless. Although they were late clasping Yuan realm warriors, they only had 20 to 30,000 low-rank soul stones at most, which was already very rich. Outside of the martial city, most of the late clasping Yuan realm warriors might not even have 10,000 low-rank soul stones. Plus, they needed a lot of low-rank soul stones for their own training, so they obviously could not spend all of them. 30,000 low-rank soul stones. I will take it. Yi Chen and Murong Qingcheng walked over side by side. The middle-aged man glanced at Yi Chen and asked suspiciously, "You want to buy it?" He had been in the martial city for many years, so he knew clearly that only some of the older late clasping Yuan realm warriors could afford 30,000 low-rank soul stones. Yi Chen was so young. Even if he came from a big martial institution, he would not have that many low-rank soul stones, unless he was the top martial genius of the martial institution, who was qualified to go to the ancient inheritance place and exchange with the martial institution. Without saying anything, Yi Chen took out 3 boxes of soul stones from his storage ring. All right, the Star Scar sword is yours. The middle-aged man looked very happy. He had recently been interested in a low-rank Earth realm martial art, which included a flying art, palm art, and a martial art. If he sold it individually, it would only be around 10,000 low-rank soul stones. But if he sold it all together, it would be worth 70,000 low-rank soul stones. Right now, he still needed 20,000 low-rank soul stones. As for the extra 10,000 low-rank soul stones from selling the Star Scar sword, it was for his own training. Wow, this brat is way too rich. 30,000 low-rank soul stones just like that. I'm sure that he's a genius disciple of a large sect and has entered the ancient land of inheritance. Otherwise, with his age, he wouldn't be able to accumulate so many spirit stones even after 4 or 5 years. Look at that masked girl next to him. She seems to be at the peak level of the mid-clasping Yuan realm, but the Zhenqi vibration released from her body seems to be even more powerful than us. She must have trained some kind of powerful martial art. The quality and quantity of her Zhenqi is terrifyingly high. That brat walking together with her, he must not be simple. All of the late clasping Yuan realm martial artists nearby started to discuss among themselves. Some of them looked surprised, some looked greedy, and some looked envious. Murong Qingcheng said in a low voice, "It's too expensive. The best low-grade artifact is only worth 20,000. It definitely won't exceed 25,000. Yichen said carelessly, "I don't need soul stones right now. What I need is a great sword. It doesn't matter." The Star Scar sword on the crystal counter was around 4 feet long. The body of the sword was not in the scabbard, and its whole body was shining with a misty sword light. It looked like the stars in the sky, shining brightly. Yichun could tell that the Star Scar sword was one of the top low-rank great swords. It was even better than the air-shattering blade that Lynch had bought. If he did not buy it now, he would regret it if someone else bought it. "Wait, I want this Star Scar sword." The middle-aged man was about to hand over the Star Scar sword to Yichun, but a hand stopped him and said with a cold voice. Everyone looked over and saw that it was a middle-aged man with a gloomy face. He had a sharp nose, triangular eyes, and a skinny face. His body was so skinny that it looked like he could be blown away by a gust of wind. However, sensing the extremely cold qi coming from him, no one dared to underestimate him. This is the inner master of the Sky Eagle Castle Martial School, the Blood Eagle Sword Yuan Zongbua. Someone recognized the middle-aged man and said with a low voice, "It's him. This is going to be a good show." Yuan Zongbua is an experienced late clasping Yuan realm warrior. Normal late clasping Yuan realm warriors would not be able to take even one sword attack from him. "Even if I can't get the Star Scar sword, I will just watch the show." Hee hee. The crowd spread out a little bit, standing not far away to watch the situation. Yichen's face darkened as he looked at the middle-aged man. Right now, it was all up to him. If he insisted on selling the Star Scar sword to him, then everything would be fine. The middle-aged man pushed away Yuan Zombua's palm and said to Yichun, "Young man, the Star Scar sword is yours now. As for how you deal with it, it has nothing to do with me." Letting out a breath, Yichun took over the Star Scar sword. "Huh." Yuan Zongbua looked at the middle-aged man with a cold look. "Very good. You did not even give me, Yuan Zongbua, any face. It seems like you are very confident." "I, Fang Zongbua, have always been upright. Of course, I am confident. This Star Scar sword has already been paid by him, so it belongs to him now." The middle-aged man did not look scared at all. His eyes were full of killing intent. If it were not for the fact that this was the martial city, where fighting was forbidden, Yuan Zongbua would have already killed the middle-aged man with one sword attack. He would not even bother to talk to him. Plus, the Star Scar sword was in Yichen's hand now, so it would be pointless for him to keep threatening the middle-aged man. Turning his head to look at Yichen, Yuan Zongbua said, "Young man, name a price. Sell this Star Scar sword to me, and we can talk about it later." Putting away the Star Scar sword, Yichen said, "Sorry, not for sale. You better think it through." Yuan Zongbua squeezed his eyes. This is the result of thinking it through. Right now, we still have something to do. Bye. Yichen did not want to waste any more time with Yuan Zongbua. This kind of person would not change his mind with just a few words. So, it would be a waste of time. "Brat, you're looking for death. Don't think that the martial city can protect you forever. Once we get out of the martial city, I, Yuan Zongbua, will have my ways to make you hand over the Star Scar sword. Of course, by then, it will not be just one Star Scar sword, so I will have to collect some interest." Yuan Zongbua was so mad that he almost puked out blood. After being humiliated for so many times, his face had turned slightly red. He then clenched his fists, his veins bulging. As for Yuan Zongbua's harsh words, Yichen pretended that he did not hear them. Once they got out of the martial city, they would fight with their own power. If 1 or 2 words could scare him, then what was the point of him coming out to train? Wouldn't it be better to stay in the Sky Cloud Martial School? At least the Sky Cloud Martial School had the protection of the astral-reaching realm warriors. Looking at Yi Chen's back, everyone was shocked. This brat is so straightforward. He did not even talk to Yuan Zhongbo. But it would be hard for Yuan Zhongbo to kill him. The masked lady next to him is very powerful. If the two of them join hands, they might be able to hurt Yuan Zhongbo. Relying on women is nothing. Hearing everyone's words, Yuan Zhongbo sneered. Of course, he could tell how powerful Murong Qingsheng was. But he was confident that he could kill Yi Chen and leave easily. Plus, with his experience, he could tell that Murong Qingsheng and Yi Chen were just normal friends. They would separate eventually, and by then, he would make sure that Yi Chen would die a horrible death. That would be the price for messing with Yuan Zhongbo. Waving his sleeves, Yuan Zhongbo turned to leave. He needed to find some people to keep an eye on Yi Chen, just in case he would be able to sneak away without anyone noticing. On the other side of the palace, Murong Qingsheng said that Yuan Zhongbo is not easy to deal with. With your power, I think it might be a bit of stretch. She did not want to hurt Yi Chen, so she used the word stretch. Seriously, if Yi Chen ran into Yuan Zhongbo, the only thing he could do was to run for his life. As for whether or not he could make it out alive, it was still unknown. It would be boring if the training was not dangerous. It would be nice to have some side dishes. Yi Chen was not worried at all. He now had the training method for the third movement of the void-shattering finger art, and he also had the Flow Rudra 3 mysterious spell. With 1 month, his power would definitely reach the next level. By then, even if he could not beat Yuan Zhongbo, he would still be able to scare him. Of course, if he could reach the peak level of early clasping Yuan realm, then he would be even more confident. You're right. Murong Qingsheng nodded. After buying the Star Scar sword, the two did not leave right away. There were way too many treasures in the trading palace, and there might be something they needed. As they were walking, Murong Qingsheng suddenly stopped in front of a crystal counter. Inside the crystal counter, a pair of gloves with golden threads was sitting there quietly. They looked very thin, but a shocking spirit power vibration was coming out of them. Seeing the price of the gloves, Murong Qingsheng shook her head. She did not plan to buy it. Yi Chen said, "This pair of low-rank gloves is not bad. Why don't you buy it? I do not have that many low-rank soul stones right now. We will talk about it later. Plus, I already have a pair of gloves." As the second disciple of the Sky Flying Devil Martial School, Murong Qingsheng already had low-rank gloves. However, compared to this pair of gloves, they were obviously not as good. 23,000 low-rank soul stones. I will pay for you. Consider it as a thank you for bringing me to the Martial City. Yi Chen took out 2 big boxes and 3 small boxes without hesitation. They were all filled with low-rank soul stones. For him, 23,000 low-rank soul stones were just a small amount. He had more than 2 million low-rank soul stones now, and 60,000 mid-rank soul stones. He was even richer than a normal rank 9 martial institution. Thank you. Murong Qingsheng had trained at demon martial art, so she was not shy at all. Qingsheng, you don't need him to pay for you. I will give you this pair of gloves. Right then, a young man in luxurious clothes took out a low-rank soul stone and handed it to the owner of the gloves before Yi Chen could. Seeing this person, Murong Qingsheng was expressionless. Second Prince, what a coincidence. Yeah, is indeed a coincidence. The young man was not very handsome, but he had the aura of a king. Behind him were 4 elderly men in black, all of whom were at least as powerful as Yuan Zhongbo. The leader was obviously a peak-level 8 clasping Yuan realm warrior. I think I should just forget about it. I don't like this pair of gloves. Murong Qingsheng did not plan to accept his gift. The young man turned around. What? Didn't you want to buy it just now? Just now was just now. I don't like it now. Yi Chen, let's go. Murong Qingsheng turned around and left. Yi Chen followed behind her helplessly. The smile on the young man's face froze. Yi Chen was willing to pay for her, but she did not buy it when he gave it to her. How ridiculous. Master Lu sent a couple of people to watch them. See what kind of relationship that brat has with her. Yes, your Royal Highness, the old man in the lead said respectfully. Better not. Otherwise, don't blame me. Glancing at Yi Chen with a creepy look, The young man dropped the gloves and walked away. Chapter 192. In front of an ancient-looking building. People were coming and going. The warriors who went in had a serious look on their faces, and the ones who came out were either overjoyed or upset. The atmosphere was quite weird. Yichen paused, turned his head, and said, "The second prince you're talking about should be the second prince of the Black Dragon Empire, right?" "Yeah. He's also ranked 34th in the last hidden dragon rank. He is slightly more powerful than Qi Xiaofeng." Murong Qingsheng was playing with the golden silk gloves in her hand. Just now, under Yi Chen's suggestion, they had gone back to the crystal counter and bought the gloves. "You seem to be very scared of him." "I'm not scared of him. I am scared of the royal family of the Black Dragon Empire behind him. In the South River region, rank 6 institutions are not the most powerful ones. The royal families of the 3 big empires are the real rulers. According to the ranking, the 3 big empires are equivalent to the top rank 6 institutions. They have tens of thousands of years of history. Even the powerful 9 Ghost Cult could not destroy the 3 big empires at once." Speaking of the 9 Ghost Cult, Yi Chun could not help but ask, what is the rank of the 9 Ghost Cult? Even if all of the forces in the South River region combined, they would not be able to compete with it. It is a rank 5 institution, and it is a top rank 5 institution. There are thousands of astral-reaching realm warriors in the martial institution, and dozens of Sea of Souls realm warriors. And the leader of the 9 Ghost Cult is a life and death realm warrior. If it were not for the Dragon King and Xianhou working together to hunt him down, the 9 Ghost Cult would have already conquered the whole South River region. The Dragon King and Xianhou working together to hunt down the leader of the 9 Ghost Cult. Yichen gasped. In this true spirit continent, life and death realm warriors were definitely a legend. A lot of people might not even get to see one in their entire lives. Murong Qingsheng had a longing look on her face as she explained, "The battle between life and death realm warriors is not a normal battle. Even if you're 30% more powerful, you will only be able to beat your opponent back. You will not even be able to hurt your opponent. Although the Dragon King is an experienced life and death realm warrior, and Xianhou is even more powerful, the leader of the Su King is not a normal life and death realm warrior either. In a one-on-one battle, you will not be able to do anything to him. In the whole world, perhaps only that supreme warrior, Su King, could wound the leader of the 9 Ghost Cult badly by himself. But to kill him completely would be very, very hard, unless the power gap between the two was a few times higher." "You're saying that the leader of the 9 Ghost Cult might still be alive? You don't know?" Murong Qingsheng shook his head. Yichen forced a smile. With his cultivation, he would not be able to understand the power of life and death realm warriors at all. Making wild guesses would only bring trouble to himself. "All right, let's go in." Yichen did not say anything else as he walked towards the ancient-looking building. "Welcome. You two are here to use the training room, right?" In the lobby, there was a beautiful lady sitting there. Seeing the two walk in, a formal smile appeared on her face. Yichen nodded. "That's right. The martial city was different from other places. It could be said that it was blessed by the heavens. Under the martial city, there was the Earth Shajan fire, which was extremely hot. Once an astral-reaching realm warrior touched it, he or she would be burned into ashes in an instant. However, what was amazing was that if a warrior trained near the Earth Shajan fire, he or she would be able to train his or her Zhen Qi much faster, and it would be easier for him or her to make a breakthrough. Later on, dozens of Sea of Souls realm warriors performed an amazing trick and gathered the fire Qi that came from the Earth Shajan fire in one place, and built the unique training room of the martial city. Training in the training room was much better than before. Most of the warriors who came to the martial city because of the fame of the Earth Shajan fire were here to train in the training room, hoping to reach a higher level as soon as possible. Of course, training in the training room required soul stones. There was no such thing as a free lunch in the world. The training rooms in our martial city are divided into 4 ranks: the low-rank training room, the mid-rank training room, the high-rank training room, and the top-rank training room. However, only astral-reaching realm warriors can use the high-rank training room and above. Would you like a low-rank training room or a mid-rank training room? Yichen said, Give us 2 mid-rank training rooms. The fire chi in the high-rank training room was way too intense. Warriors below the astral reaching realm would not be able to handle it. Otherwise, there would be no need for the martial city to restrict the warrior's cultivation, since everyone's soul stones were soul stones anyway. The mid-rank training room costs 1,000 low-rank soul stones per day. There's a mid-rank training field outside. Please pay for 3 days' worth of soul stones in advance. Yichen had already heard the price of the training room from Murong Qingsheng, so he was not too surprised. He took out 6,000 low-rank soul stones and put them on the counter, then took 2 jade tags from the waiter's hand. The ancient characters 64 and 65 were written on the jade tags. "Please follow me," a waiter said as he led the way. Yichen and Murong Qingsheng followed. Not long after, the two followed the waiter to 2 adjacent yards. The waiter said, "On the left is the mid-rank training room 64, and on the right is the mid-rank training room 65. Before you leave the training room, they belong to you. Without your permission, no one can enter." "Got it." Yichen took out 10 low-rank soul stones and threw them to the waiter. "Thank you. I wish you success in your training." The waiter revealed a smile. He was only a mid-condensing reality realm warrior. 10 low-rank soul stones were quite a lot for him. After the waiter left, Yichen said, "I think this training will take a long time. If you can't wait, you can leave first. I will pay for the soul stones." All right. Murong Qingsheng indeed would not stay in a martial city for a long time, since she could not make a breakthrough with her current cultivation. Even with the training room, it would not be possible. If she did not make much progress, she would need to go back to the Sky Flying Devil Martial School and prepare for it before heading to the 100,000 mountain range to find a Sky Devil flower. After separating from Murong Qingsheng, Yichen entered the 64th yard. Wow, this training field is not bad. It should be able to take a lot of impact. In front of his eyes was a small martial arts field with a circumference of 30 meters. The ground of the martial arts field was paved with extremely hard blue iron stones. In the center of the martial arts field, there were 3 training pillars made of metal. There were many marks on the surface, such as sword marks, saber marks, and palm prints. It was obvious that they had been used by people. Taking out his Star Scar sword, Yichen took a deep breath and threw out a sword attack. Shoo! The light blue sword chi sliced through the air, leaving a deep sword mark on the training columns. Because Yichen did not know how hard the training columns were, he took out his dragon spring sword and threw out another sword chi, leaving a slightly shallow sword mark on the training columns. Yeah, it increased the attacking power by about 15%. A low-rank greatsword is indeed a low-rank greatsword. It is not something a normal greatsword can compete with. Regarding the power of the Star Scar sword, Yichen was very satisfied. But in comparison, he preferred the hardness of a low-rank great weapon. With the Star Scar sword, he would not have to worry about the sword breaking anymore. The yard was not that big. Besides the small training field, there was only one building. Inside the building, there was a living room in the middle, a bedroom on the left, and a training room on the right. The training room was made of a special material. It was not made of stone, nor was it made of metal. Instead, it looked like it was made of some kind of ironwood. It was hard and cold to the touch. Once he entered the room, Yichen felt the temperature increase. But strangely, staying in the training room, he did not feel hot at all. On the contrary, his body felt warm, and the Zhun Qi that was flowing slowly suddenly became active, like a surging river. Releasing his soul power, Yichen wanted to see what was so special about the training room. Soon, he found that there was a light red gas rising up from the ground, gathering in the training room. Because of the special material, the walls and the ceiling had the effect of blocking the red gas, preventing it from spreading out. This should be the fire chi of the earth Zhen Qi. I wonder what the real earth Zhen Qi looks like. Mumbling to himself, Yichen walked to the cushion in the middle of the training room and sat down with his legs crossed. He took out a chi replenishing pellet, a spirit replenishing pellet, and a soul replenishing pellet, and put them into his mouth. He then took out 2 low-rank soul stones and held them in his hands. This time, he wanted to reach the peak of early clasping Yuan realm. Only with his cultivation could his overall power increase rapidly. Closing his eyes, Yi Chun slowly entered the training state. You mean that Brad is training in the training room? In the private room of the restaurant, Yuan Zhongbo said to the condensing reality realm warrior who was standing in front of him. The warrior nodded, yes. Keep watching him. Once he comes out, send someone to inform me immediately. You will get the soul stones. Yuan Zhongbo said with a cold expression. Yes. The warrior looked very happy. In the martial city, condensing reality realm warriors did not have much status. It was very hard to earn soul stones through normal channels. The good thing was that all the warriors who entered the martial city had some conflicts with each other. Normally, the warriors who had conflicts would find a few condensing reality realm warriors to keep an eye on each other. Of course, there was a price to pay, which was soul stones. You can leave for now. Yuan Zhongbo waved his hand. Waiting until the warrior left, Yuan Zhongbo's face turned evil. Brat, the training room is not omnipotent. You are only an early clasping Yuan realm warrior, and you can only reach the peak of early clasping Yuan realm in a short period of time. You will not be able to compete with me. Once you leave the martial city, it will be your death. As for that star scar sword, it will be mine. Inside another luxurious yard. Second Prince, our people have been watching along the way. They found that this guy is not that close to Miss Muro. They should be normal friends. The elder in black said with respect. Hearing him, the second prince laughed. Normal friends? That's what I said. Qingsheng is a proud woman. How could she have a relationship with someone else? Plus, that brat is only an early clasping Yuan realm warrior. The elder in black rolled his eyes and thought to himself, no one said that he has a relationship with Murong Qingsheng. You're the one who thinks so. If that is the case, then let's stop watching. Murong Qingsheng has a lot of normal friends. There is no need to watch every single one of them. Knowing that Yi Chun and Murong Qingsheng were normal friends, the second prince felt a lot better. He did not plan to cause any trouble for Yi Chun. After all, martial geniuses had too many normal friends. It would be weird if they did not have any. Yes. Chapter 193. Days passed by. On the seventh day, noon, the door of the training room was opened, and Yi Chun walked out. I can't stay in the training room for too long. As time goes on, the Earth Shajian fire will make me anxious. If I continue to train like this, I might lose my mind and end up with unpredictable consequences. All right, I will take a break for a while and train the Flow Rudra 3 spell and the Void Shattering Finger Art. For Yi Chun, the Flow Rudra 3 mysterious spell was very important. Only by increasing his speed would he have the chance to escape from danger in the future. Let's go eat something first. Letting out a breath of hot air, Yi Chun pushed open the door and walked out of the yard. Although clasping Yuan realm warriors could go for a long time without eating or drinking, but once they stopped training, they would still be very hungry. Yi Chun was no exception. Young warrior, this is a note from your friend. Outside the yard, the waiter who had served Yi Chun and Murong Qingsheng saw Yi Chun and hurried over, handing him a note. Yi Chun took the note and opened it. Brother Yi, I still have something to do. I will go back to the Sky Demon Martial School now. Be careful. We will meet again in the future. Murong Qingsheng. Closing the note, Yi Chun asked, when did she leave? 4 days ago. Thank you. This is your reward. Taking out 10 low-rank soul stones from his storage ring, Yi Chun threw them to the waiter. The waiter took the low-rank soul stones and thought to himself, so generous. 10 low-rank soul stones at once. It is enough for me to train for a month. In a restaurant nearby, Yi Chun sat on the second floor near the window. Yuan Zhongbo's power is not to be underestimated. Before I leave the city, I have to reach the peak of early clasping Yuan realm, and I have to train the Flow Rudra 3 mysterious spell to the first realm as well. Adding my ace attack, the one sword attack, I should be able to fight against him for a while. Unfortunately, the third movement of the Void Shattering Finger Art is extremely hard to train. If I could learn 10 to 20% of it, I would have a higher chance of winning. According to Yi Chun's estimation, the Void Shattering Finger Art should be a Heaven Realm Finger Art, and it was not a low rank one at that. Judging from the fact that the stone pillar-like finger could shatter a life and death realm beast with a single finger attack, Yi-chun could tell that. Soon, all the dishes were served, as well as a pot of wine. Yi-chun couldn't care less about being polite and started wolfing down the food. Did you guys know that yesterday, an astral-reaching realm martial artist died in the heavy, mysterious mountain? A few clasping yuan realm martial artists were sitting together on the third table next to them, talking to each other. What? An astral-reaching realm warrior is dead. Who killed him? It was the mountain-shaking old man, Diao Kuei. The one who died was not a nobody either. His nickname was Evil Blade, and he had reached the peak of early astral-reaching realm. Evil Blade, it was him. Decades ago, he had killed the whole family of the mountain-shaking old man's disciple. The mountain-shaking old man had always hated him. I did not expect him to catch him this time. All right, how many attacks did they use? Although the mountain-shaking old man was a mid-astral-reaching realm warrior, Evil Blade was also very powerful. I heard that he could take on normal mid-astral-reaching realm warriors. 3 attacks. The mountain-shaking old man killed Evil Blade with only 3 attacks. That's impossible. Did Evil Blade not have enough time to burn his Jin Yuan? If he did not burn his Jin Yuan, Evil Blade would only be able to take 1 attack at most. Back then, the mountain-shaking old man had gone all out. He did not even say anything before burning his Jin Yuan, not giving Evil Blade any chance to escape. It's good that he died. Evil Blade had killed countless people, so he would not be able to escape after all. Hearing their conversation, Yi-chun thought to himself, the mountain-shaking old man looks like a nice person, and he even teased me in front of Murong Qingchen. But when he is angry, he is quite fierce. He killed a peak-level early astral-reaching realm warrior with 3 attacks. I am afraid that even Thunderfreer would not be able to take 3 attacks from him. After lunch, Yi-chun walked out onto the street. As he walked, he stopped. Enemies are bound to meet on a narrow road, he thought to himself. Hee, it seems like you have not reached the peak level early clasping Yuan realm yet. Plus, your friend has left you as well. Yuan Zhongbo looked at Yi-chun with an evil intention. Yi-chun said lightly, right now is the best chance to kill me. Unfortunately, it is not in your hands. There is no use trying to provoke me. I'm not stupid. Even astral-reaching realm warriors do not dare to kill people in the Martial City. I would not dare to either. Unfortunately, you cannot stay in the Martial City forever. Then you wait for me. Maybe I will stay in the Martial City for 3 to 5 years. Yi-chun sneered as he walked past Yuan Zhongbo. Yuan Zhongbo's face darkened. If he really wanted to stay in the Martial City for 3 to 5 years, he would not be able to do anything about it. Damn, don't fall into my hands. Otherwise, I will make you beg for death. Back in the yard, Yi-chun rested for a while and started to learn the Flow Ridra 3 spell. Another 7 days passed. On the small training field. Separate, Yi-chun groaned with a low voice. 2 extremely real Zhen Qi shadows appeared from Yi-chun's body. The Zhen Qi shadows started to fly, and within a blink of an eye, they had already run 1 round around the training field. Then they suddenly appeared in front of the metal training column and threw a punch on it. Boom! Boom! 2 fist marks appeared on the training column. Soon, after a while, the Flow Ridra 3 spell should be able to reach the first realm. By then, the separating shadow flying art would be at the middle rank Earth realm. Right now, the separating shadow flying art had already surpassed the original effect. It was not any weaker than the top low rank Earth realm flying art, and was only 1 step away from the middle rank Earth realm. The Zhen Qi shadows merged into his body. Yi-chun stood still and closed his eyes. After a long while, he opened his eyes, and an extremely horrifying qi spread out. He reached out his right index finger and pointed at the training column. Pooh! A deep finger mark appeared in the middle of the training column, and the fingerprint could be seen clearly. Seeing that, Yi-chun shook his head, still not good. Not even 1/10 of it. The third movement of the void-shattering finger is too hard. It seems like my cultivation is indeed too low. Wanting to learn a Heaven Realm finger art is not something that can be done in a short period of time. Let's not waste any more time. During this period of time, besides training the Flow Ridra 3 spell, Yi Chun was also training the Void-Shattering Finger Art. He wanted to see if he could make a breakthrough. It seemed like the rank of the Void-Shattering Finger Art was too high, and it would be unwise to waste his time on it. Time flew by like water. On this day, Yi Chun moved extremely fast on the small training field. On his way, his body slightly shook, and two Zhenqi shadows shot out toward the training column at an unbelievable speed. Break! The real body and Zhenqi shadows threw out a punch at the same time, violently hitting the training column. Boom, boom, boom. Three muffled sounds were heard almost at the same time. Back out! With one punch thrown out, the three shadows mixed together and backed out in a dazzling way. It was impossible to tell which was the real body and which was the Zhenqi shadows. Compared to before, the speed and effect were not the same at all. Taking back the Zhenqi shadows, a smile appeared on Yi Chun's face. The Flow Ridra 3 spell has finally reached the first realm. Right now, my separating shadow flying art is more than 50% stronger than before. I can already cooperate with the Zhenqi shadows to attack the enemies together. Seriously speaking, the Zhenqi shadows created by the separating shadow flying art were mainly used to confuse the enemies and did not have much power. However, after reaching the mid-rank Earth realm, the Zhenqi shadows' power had increased drastically. When encountering a powerful opponent, the Zhenqi shadows would be able to block the opponent for a second, and that second would be more than enough. The Earth Fiend Jin fire inside my body has almost dissipated. I should try to break into the peak level early clasping Yuan realm this time. Reaching the peak level early clasping Yuan realm from the early clasping Yuan realm required a lot of accumulation. If there were pellets or treasures that could increase Jin Qi, it could be done within a couple of days. Unfortunately, these kinds of pellets and treasures were not something that normal people could get. Only those rank 7 martial institutions or super martial institutions had the resources to train their genius disciples. For example, Murong Qingcheng had improved her cultivation from the mid-clasping Yuan realm to the peak-level mid-clasping Yuan realm with a fire dragon fruit. According to her, the other top-ranked hidden dragon rank warriors had done the same. There was no time to be jealous of those genius disciples from the rank 7 martial institutions or super martial institutions. Right now, Yi Chun could only focus on training step by step. What? That brat went inside to train again? Inside the private room of the restaurant, Yuan Zongbua was extremely furious. The teenager who came to inform Yi Chun said, "Yes, I used the low-rank soul stones you gave me to bribe a few waiters. They did not see him come out. Keep watching. I don't believe that he can really stay in the martial city for 3 to 5 years." Yuan Zongbua was now really worried that Yi Chun would not leave the martial city. It was not like this had never happened before. A lot of people had stayed in the martial city for 10 or even 20 years in order to avoid their enemies. They did not dare to leave the martial city until their enemies were killed by someone else. This time, Yi Chun stayed in the training room for half a month without coming out. He did not drink a single drop of water for half a month. He had put all of his focus into training. He had used hundreds of low-rank soul stones and dozens of spirit, chi, and mental pellets. If it was a normal early clasping Yuan realm warrior who did this, there would be a huge chance that he would lose his mind. However, Yi Chun's soul power was extremely powerful, which allowed him to extend the time by more than 2 times. Otherwise, he would not have been so reckless. Outside the yard, different waiters would come and watch during their break time, which made the waiter who had received a tip from Yi Chun feel suspicious. He had lived in the martial city for so many years and had seen everything. If he was not mistaken, there should be someone who wanted to kill Yi Chun. Under the watch of those waiters, Yi Chun finally came out again. The fire chi of the Earth Fiend fire is so amazing. After training for so long, my meridians are still fine. But it should also have the effect of the chi replenishing pellet and the soul replenishing pellet. Normally, warriors would stop after training for a couple of hours at most, because their meridians could not handle the constant flow of Jin Qi, which could easily cause damage to their meridians. However, in the training room, Yichen would only stop for a couple of hours after training for half a day. He would close his eyes and rest. After a couple of hours, his meridians would return to normal, and he would continue training. Letting out a long breath, Yichen opened the door and mumbled to himself, "I have reached the peak level early, clasping Yuan realm. I will not be able to make another breakthrough in a short period of time." Bang, bang, bang. Someone knocked on the door from outside the yard. Yichen pulled with his right hand, and the door bolt was pulled open. He said, "Come in." Crack. The door opened, and it was the waiter who had served him before. "What is it?" Yichen asked. "You should not leave the martial city for now. Someone has their eyes on you, and they have arranged a lot of waiters to watch over you." Yichen smiled lightly. "I know, thanks." Yuan Zongbua had sent people to watch over him, and he had already known about it. Now that his cultivation and flying art had both improved, he did not have to be afraid of him anymore. "You know, it seems like I have been worrying too much." The waiter laughed. Yichen said, "You go first. Don't get yourself into trouble." Yeah, the waiter was taking a huge risk by coming here. Although he would not leave the martial city in a couple of years, some things were unpredictable. The next morning, Yichen closed the door and was about to leave the training room. Chapter 194. You have trained in the training room for 35 days. Excluding the 3 days that you paid before, you still need to pay for 32 days' worth of soul stones. That's 32,000 low-rank soul stones in total. The lady said with a smile. Yichen paid the soul stones, and before he left, he glanced at the waiter who had a weird expression on his face. Walking on the street, Yichen thought to himself, if nothing goes wrong, Yuan Zongbua will soon know that I have left the martial city, and he will definitely come after me. Instead of fighting back or running away, I might as well make the first move and teach him a lesson. After making up his mind, Yichen increased his speed and flew towards the city gate. "Sir, the kid you asked us to watch is running toward the city gate." The door of the restaurant was opened, and the young man rushed in. Crack! The teacup was shattered as Yuan Zongbua stood up and laughed. "Kid, let's see where you can run this time. Today, the heavy mystery mountain will be your burial ground." Yuan Zongbua was not afraid of Yichen running away at all. The gravity in the center of the heavy mystery mountain was 10 times stronger than the outside world. The lower the cultivation, the greater the pressure. He and Yichen were 2 realms apart. No matter how you looked at it, he was way more powerful than Yichen. Seeing that Yuan Zongbua was about to leave, the young man said, "Sir, what about the other half of the soul stones you promised me? Let's talk about it when I come back. I will give you double." As the voice came, the young man had already disappeared. Getting out of the city gate, Yichen's body flashed and landed on the thigh-thick chain. Zhen Qi exploded from his feet, and he jumped out like he was on a skateboard. Coming. On his way, Yichen's soul power sensed Yuan Zongbua's aura. The latter was running towards him, and soon he had reached the city gate. The moment Yuan Zongbua got out of the city gate, he saw Yichen, who was almost at the other side of the abyss. He laughed and jumped up into the sky like a rock spreading its wings. Within a second, he landed on the chain. His legs started to move back and forth at an extremely fast speed, increasing his speed. Shoo! Soon, Yuan Zongbua arrived at the top of the mountain along the chain. Looking down, a few miles away, a human shadow was running crazily, looking back from time to time, looking a bit impatient. Can you escape? His clothes started to flutter, even though there was no wind. Yuan Zongbua jumped into the air, and his Zhen Qi started to pour out, forming a 3 meters long blood-red Zhen Qi eagle outside his body. The eagle flapped its wings, and with a shoo sound, it dived down, drawing a beautiful blood-colored arc in the air. The 2 of them moved as fast as lightning, one chasing and the other escaping. Blood eagle art. That is not Yuan Zongbua. Who is he chasing? Yuan Zongbua is an experienced late clasping Yuan realm warrior. Judging from the Zhen Qi vibration of that guy in front of us, he has not reached the mid-clasping Yuan realm yet. He should be at the peak level early clasping Yuan realm. The blood eagle sword Yuan Zongbua is ruthless. This guy is going to suffer. What does it have to do with us? Countless warriors die in the heavy, mysterious mountains every day. Not long ago, Even an astral-reaching realm warrior died. The heavy Mystery Mountain range was not very big, and there were many martial artists coming and going. The chase and escape between the two alarmed many martial artists, causing them to talk about it. "Kid, let's see where you can run to." Wrapped by the Zhenqi eagle, Yuan Zhonghua took out his great sword and threw out a sword attack. Shoo! The blood-red sword chi stretched out in the air, slicing through the air. Wherever it went, the mountain rocks were cut in half, and the trees fell down one after another. Within a second, it had caught up with Yi Chun. Boom! A small hill in front of them had been blown open. It was like Yi Chun had grown eyes on the back of his head. He suddenly changed his route and flew towards a remote road. Hee, the more remote the better. This way, there will not be any accidents. The Zhenqi eagle flapped its wings and carried Yuan Zhonghua, chasing after Yi Chun. Gradually, no one could be seen around them anymore. The ground was covered with weeds, which were huge and tall, with the thickness of an arm. Obviously, the gravity of the heavy, mysterious mountains had strengthened the plants that survived in there, making them much tougher than the plants in the outside world. 300 meters, 200 meters, 100 meters. Yuan Zhonghua laughed out loud. "Little brat, I advise you not to run anymore. If you want to blame something, blame yourself for thinking that you could escape from me." In front of him, Yi Chun's cold voice was heard. "It is hard to tell who will laugh in the end. Stubborn duck, let's see how you will laugh later." Yuan Zhonghua hated Yi Chun's tone. Until now, Yi Chun was still terrifyingly calm, as if nothing could affect him. On the contrary, Yuan Zhonghua seemed to be irritated, as if he could not wait to kill Yi Chun and destroy his confidence. Both of them were flying at a low altitude, only tens of meters away from the ground. Suddenly, Yi Chun's body landed on the ground, and he started to run on the ground. Yuan Zhonghua was dazed for a second, and then he laughed out proudly. "The gravity of the heavy, mysterious mountains is extremely strong. The Zhenqi will be consumed 10 times faster than the outside world. God is on my side. Let's see how you're going to escape." Eagle punch. As the punch was thrown out, an eagle's cry was heard. The grass in front of him had been smashed into pieces under the pressure of the punch. The ground sank a couple of meters deep, and a huge fist mark appeared. He dodged it. Yuan Zhonghua thought that his punch would be enough to wound Yi Chun, but he did not expect that Yi Chun's speed would suddenly increase, allowing him to dodge the punch. Oh well, it has been a while since I played the game of cat and mouse. Right then, he felt that killing Yi Chun all of a sudden would be pointless. After all, he had been pissed off for a month, and he needed to vent it out. However, before he could be happy for long, the hairs on his body suddenly stood up. Danger! After going through so many bloody battles, Yuan Zhonghua instinctively felt a sense of danger. He subconsciously increased the strength of his Zhenqi layer. The blood-red Zhenqi eagle around his body had been compressed to half of its original size, and its thickness had also doubled. All of this happened within a blink of an eye. In the next second, a beam of sword chi shot out from under the ground, hitting Yuan Zhonghua's body within a second. "Brat, you will die a horrible death." Blood puked out of his mouth. Although Yuan Zhonghua had sensed the danger, he did not know where the danger was coming from. What was worse was that underneath his Zhenqi layer was the weakest, and it was immediately torn open by the sword chi, causing him to suffer quite a serious internal injury. The ground cracked open, and Yi Chun's body shot out. Zhenqi shadow. Yuan Zhonghua's pupils shrank. He was not stupid, and it did not take him long to figure out how Yi Chun managed to get under the ground. It turned out that the second Yi Chun landed on the ground, he had performed his separating shadow flying art and left a Zhenqi shadow on the ground to attract Yuan Zhonghua's attention. His real body had already gone under the ground, and with his soul power, he had easily tracked Yuan Zhonghua's location. Yi Chun did not plan to let his opponent rest. He waved out his sword, and a light blue giant sword chi shot up, twisting the air and forming a tornado, attacking towards his opponent. Small tricks. Now I will let you know that even if I am wounded, I can still kill you easily. Blood Eagle 3 sword attacks. Yuan Zhonghua sneered and threw out 3 sword attacks in a row. 3 beams of sword chi, 2 from the top and 1 from the bottom. The top two were like the eagle's wings, and the bottom one was like the eagle's sharp claws. They flew towards the tornado, and all of a sudden, the tornado was cut into 3 pieces, turning into air and pure yuan qi, scattering everywhere. The old late clasping Yuan realm warriors are indeed not to be underestimated. With the Star Scar sword in his hand, Yi Qin's body flashed, jumping towards Yuan Zhongbo. Die! Yuan Zhongbo laughed viciously, as that blood-red Zhen Qi eagle flew out of his body. Swoosh! The Zhen Qi shadow had been torn apart, and Yi Qin's real body was less than 10 meters away from Yuan Zhongbo. One sword attack. His body suddenly stood up. Yi Qin held his sword with both of his hands and threw out a sword attack from above. Shoo! The light blue sword chi flashed once before disappearing, leaving a light blue line in the air, stretching straight towards Yuan Zhongbo. What? So fast. It was not the first time Yuan Zhongbo had seen such a fast sword chi, but it was the first time he had seen it from a peak-level, early clasping Yuan realm warrior. Right then, it was obviously too late for him to avoid it. He yelled, held his sword with both of his hands, and threw out a sword attack. Boom! The sword chi and the great sword clashed, and a horrifying shockwave exploded. A 7 meters deep hole appeared on the ground, and on the edge of the hole, there were spider web-like sword marks spreading out, cutting all the plants. Yuan Zhongbo's body had been blown away by the shockwave, and his face had turned even paler. Together with his scrawny face, he looked like wrinkled white wax, which made him look horrifying. Brat, very good. I have underestimated you. But no matter how powerful you are, you will not be able to escape death. He was indeed shocked. Although he had been wounded by the sword chi before, his attacking power had not decreased by much. It was at least 80%. With 80% of his power, normal late clasping Yuan realm warriors would not be able to compete with him. Killing a peak-level early clasping Yuan realm brat would be a piece of cake. But right now, he understood that Yi Qin was the kind of martial genius who could challenge those with higher cultivation than him. Boom! Yuan Zhongbo stomped on the ground and cracked it open. He stared at Yi Qin as if he was looking at a dead man. He held his great sword with both of his hands and stabbed it into the ground. He yelled with a low voice, "One sword sky! Danger!" It had always been Yi Qin sneakily attacking his opponents, and he had never been sneakily attacked before. As Yuan Zhongbo stabbed his sword into the ground, he could feel that there was a huge amount of sword chi brewing under the ground. Once it exploded, it would be more than enough to cut him into pieces. His body flashed again and again. Yi Qin had suddenly created 3 Zhen Qi shadows. All of a sudden, the ground suddenly cracked open. Countless waist-thick blood-colored light beams shot out of the ground, easily piercing through the Zhen Qi shadows and chasing after Yi Qin's real body. With his soul power, Yi Qin managed to dodge a couple of times. How is this possible? How did he know where the sword Qi was going to explode? Yuan Zhongbo opened his eyes wide. Even he could not dodge that sword attack, so he thought that Yi Qin would not be able to either. Yuan Zhongbo bit on his teeth and poured half of his Zhen Qi into his great sword, sending it into the ground. Boom! A 7 to 8 meters thick blood-colored light beam covered Yi Qin's dodging area, shooting up into the sky. Sword Qi Mountain. Holding the sword with both of his hands, Yi Qin waved down with all of his strength. All of a sudden, layers of mountain-like sword Qi attacked the blood-colored light beam, canceling out the damage. Shoo! The blood-colored light beam covered a huge area. Even though it had canceled out most of the impact, there was still a small part of the piercing power that was able to break Yi Qin's great mysterious body, protecting Zhen Qi. Right then, the great mysterious art that had been trained to the peak of its 9th realm finally showed its effect. The quality of his Zhen Qi was way higher than normal Zhen Qi. That thin layer of Zhen Qi did not disappear at all, and was still protecting Yi Qin's body. Chapter 195. Impossible. How'd he block it? Yuan Zhongbo's one sword soaring sky consumed a lot of his Zhen Qi. Before, he had thrown out dozens of sword attacks in a row, and then he threw out a sword attack with a huge range. Almost 70% of his Zhen Qi had been used up, and the remaining Zhen Qi was barely enough for him to perform a couple of small-range attacks. However, those small-range attacks were obviously not enough to lock onto Yi Chen's body, which was a waste of Zhen Qi. Although I do not know what kind of medicine you use to recover your Zhen Qi, but I have the purple gold Qi restoring pellet, which can recover 20 to 30% of my Zhen Qi instantly. Even after using all of his ace attacks, he still could not kill Yi Chen. Yuan Zhongbo planned to use the purple gold Qi restoring pellet to exhaust Yi Chen to death. He did not believe that Yi Chen had better pellets. Plus, better pellets meant more valuable pellets. Even if he had one or two of them, it would already be very scary. Putting a purple gold pellet into his mouth, Yuan Zhongbo took out his great sword, which was covered in blood. He lowered his body and approached Yi Chen, leaving a shadow behind. Yi Chen turned his body and faced Yuan Zhongbo's attack head-on. He sneered in his mind. "Exhaust me to death? I am afraid that I will still be alive after you die." Dang! The Star Scar sword clashed with Yuan Zhongbo's great sword, and a circle of bright shockwaves spread out in all directions. The hard grass that had been under 10 times the normal gravity exploded layer by layer, bringing up waves of dirt. Eagle Fist. Holding the sword with his right hand and throwing out a punch with his left hand, Yuan Zhongbo's attacks were like a storm. One after another, he threw out all of his killing attacks. He did not plan to give Yi Chen any chance to react. Dominating 1,000 years. It had been a long time since Yi Chen had used the Tyrant Fist art. Ever since he started training the shocking Cloud Sword art, the Tyrant Fist art had been completely hidden away. But today, the Tyrant Fist art showed its power again. The first attack he performed was the fourth movement of the Tyrant Fist art, dominating 1,000 years. Once the fist was thrown out, the chi flow within hundreds of meters started to move. It was like the wind was blowing and the clouds were rolling. That shocking, dominating aura seemed like it was going to rule the whole world. Yuan Zhongbo's fist power could not move at all, as it was completely blocked out by Yi Chen's fist. If that was the case, it would have been fine. However, after a few consecutive attacks, his fist power seemed to have been penetrated, which made his entire arm feel numb. He could no longer control his power. Bang! With a thunderous explosion, the two of them were sent flying backwards. Dozens of deep footprints were left on the grassland. Yuan Zhongbo was shocked. What kind of fist art was that? His Eagle Fist art was a low-rank Earth Realm fist art, after all. Combined with his late clasping Yuan Realm Zhen Qi, it should have been an overwhelming advantage. As his body glided out, Yi Chen calmed down. He thought that using the Tyrant Fist art to block the opponent's fist art would result in a tie at most. But the result was much better than what he had expected. Thinking about it, the Tyrant Fist art was one of the top low-rank Earth Realm fist arts. Each style was more powerful than the previous one. The fourth style, Tyrant Fist art, was already as powerful as a normal mid-rank Earth Realm fist art. Besides that, he had also used the sword intent in that fist art. Using the sword intent to integrate the fist power, he had already gained an innate advantage. I don't believe you can last that long. Yuan Zhongbo was furious. His sword art could not hurt his opponent, and his fist art could not hurt him either. All of a sudden, he was so angry that his blood boiled. He threw out a sword in a fist attack. Split, touching the ground with the tip of his foot, Yi Chen jumped out towards his opponent. Two Zhen Qi shadows flashed out, one on the left and one on the right, following Yi Chen and attacking Yuan Zhongbo. Dang, 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 bang, 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 bang. Sword against sword, fist against fist, mixed with the muffled sound of fists hitting the protective Zhen Qi layer. The place where the two were fighting was extremely messy. Break! Letting the Zhen Qi shadow attack his protective Zhen Qi layer, Yuan Zhongbo jumped into the air and threw out a punch towards Yi Chen's head with a sharp, exploding sound. Yi Chen tilted his head, and a small hill behind him was blown up. Taking advantage of the fact that his opponent could not connect after throwing out a punch, Yi Chen took a step forward. His left fist carried a spiral power and attacked towards his opponent's Dantian Qi Si. As long as his attack landed, it would be enough to cripple his opponent. Qi Si sword. Yuan Zhongbo held the sword in his right hand and stabbed towards Yi Chen's chest. At the same time, An extremely sharp sword chi was shot out from his dantian, clashing with Yi Chen's fist power. Dang! The Star Scar sword had blocked out his opponent's attack. Yi Chen's body flashed, and two human shadows appeared. Which one is real? Which one is fake? Yi Chen's movement was way too fast. Yuan Zhongbo could only see a blur in front of his eyes, and then there was another person in front of him. He did not have time to think as he hurried to back out. His great sword that was covered in blood continuously threw out a spider web like sword chi. Pooh! Pooh! The two human shadows were both shattered into pieces. Yuan Zhongbo's scalp went numb. He screamed in his mind, "Not good. Both of them are fake. Damn it!" Touching the ground with his feet, Yuan Zhongbo jumped into the air. Shoo! The ground was cracked open, and sword chi flew out. Although you are not a good person, your battling experience and reaction are quite powerful. Coming out of the ground, Yi Chun raised his head and looked at Yuan Zhongbo, who was in the air. Floating in the air, Yuan Zhongbo's face turned pale. If he had hesitated for even a second, he would have been wounded even more. Do I really have to use that attack? Yi Chen's battling experience was not that good, but it was unpredictable and unpredictable. It was always surprising. Until now, Yuan Zhongbo had started to doubt if he would be able to make him stay. Deep in his mind, he even started to think about backing out. However, this thought had only flashed through his mind for a second before it was immediately denied. What a joke. Even a peak-level early, clasping Yuan Realm Warrior could scare me away. Then, I will definitely have a problem in my heart in the future. A blue light flashed once again. Yi Chun performed his one-sword attack again. Seeing that, Yuan Zhongbo made up his mind. His boiling Zhen Qi was poured in his right arm in a very aggressive manner. His skin started to crack all of a sudden. There were blood strands that merged with his Zhen Qi, making his Zhen Qi even thicker and redder. Minor blood, demon body, separating great art. Holding the great sword in his right arm, Yuan Zhongbo threw out a sword attack. Whoosh! The blood-red sword Qi expanded in the air, turning into 100 meters long sword Qi. It shattered Yi Chen's blue sword Qi and continued to fall down. The horrifying sword pressure made the ground collapse. A huge sword hole that was almost 1,000 meters long appeared. Yi Chen did not dare to hesitate. He threw out 3 different sword Qi with the sword in his right hand, while his left hand suddenly formed a fist and threw out a series of attacks. Then his right hand suddenly straightened like a blade and suddenly pointed out his index finger in the air. All of those movements were done within a second. It was unbelievably fast and connected. If there were other top warriors here, they would have been shocked. In a battle between top warriors, doing 2 things at once was already the limit. Doing 3 things at once would only be possible if he had trained some kind of secret martial art. No one had ever seen anyone attack 6 times within a second, and all 6 times were different. It could be considered as doing 6 things at once. But of course, it was still a long way from actually doing 6 things at the same time. The 100 meters long blood-red sword Qi started to wear out under the continuous attacks. Its power decreased drastically. When it got close to Yi Chun, it was only about 10 meters long. Pooh! The bloody sword Qi that had been greatly weakened had been shattered. Yi Chun stepped on the ground and jumped into the air, leaving countless Zhen Qi shadows in the air. Some of these Zhen Qi shadows were very real, some were blurry, and some were clear in the front but blurry in the back. There were all kinds of different shapes and sizes. The reason why he did that was to trick Yuan Zhongbo so that he would not be able to tell where his real body was. I don't care how many Zhen Qi shadows you have. I will break them all with one sword attack. Yuan Zhongbo had bought the minor blood demon body separating art from a top warrior. It was said that it was the simplified version of the blood demon body separating art from one of the 108 ghost warriors of the 9 Ghost cult. Although the simplified version of the minor blood demon body separating art was much less powerful, it did not have the danger of exploding, and it would not hurt his core either. However, the side effects were still not small. If nothing happened to his right arm, it would dry up like a piece of wood, and his blood would dry up. Without any medicine to help him recover, his arm would be useless. The arm that was getting skinnier and skinnier was surrounded by a blood mist. Yuan Zhongguo's face looked extremely twisted as he waved out a sword attack towards the group of human shadows. It was like a blood-red sun, and all of the human shadows were cut into pieces within a second. After performing the Demon Dao secret martial art, your reaction speed has slowed down. All of a sudden, Yi Qin's voice came from behind Yuan Zhongguo. Release! Yuan Zhongguo was shocked. His back suddenly cracked open, and his Zhun Qi and blood threads combined into a blood-red Qi shield to protect his body. Pop! Yi Qin only threw out one finger attack, and a small hole appeared on the blood-red Qi shield. The finger power landed on Yuan Zhongguo's back from a distance. Yuan Zhongguo's body was blown away by that finger attack. He yelled, "Impossible! You broke my minor blood demon body, separating great art with only one finger attack." Yi Qin shook his head as he quickly caught up with Yuan Zhongguo. He thought to himself, "I did not realize that the void-shattering finger had the effect of breaking Jin Qi. Right now, its power is not as powerful as the sword Qi, but in terms of breaking Jin Qi, the sword Qi is not as powerful as it is. Combined with the sword intent, this finger attack can be considered as the ace attack of breaking Jin Qi." Yi Qin had performed 6 different martial arts in that split second, and one of them was the void-shattering finger. To his surprise, he realized that when the void-shattering finger attacked Jin Qi, its power was even more powerful than the sword Qi. Unfortunately, it was not very powerful for warriors. Otherwise, with that finger attack, Yuan Zhongguo would have been either dead or severely injured. Young warrior, you should be more lenient when it is possible. There is no need to kill all of them. Just as Yi Qin was about to catch up with Yuan Zhongguo, a human shadow suddenly appeared in front of him and threw out a palm attack. Along with that palm attack, a huge Jin Qi hand appeared out of nowhere. It was extremely heavy, and one could clearly see the fingerprints on it. It was about to grab onto Yi Qin's body and stop him right away. Yi Qin's face looked very dark. He kept on throwing out his void-shattering finger attacks at the Jin Qi hand. All of a sudden, the Jin Qi hand was full of holes and was completely destroyed. That person was a bit surprised, but he backed off with a smile on his face. "Where do you think you're going?" That palm attack was obviously aimed at him. How could Yi Qin not know? Killing intent rose in his heart. Yi Qin left Yuan Zhongguo behind and chased after that person. He also took the chance to check him out. He was wearing a brown shirt and looked to be in his 50s. He had a calm smile on his face, as if what he had just done was just a joke. Seeing Yi Qin chasing after him, that person frowned. "Young warrior, I am here to stop the fight. Why are you chasing after me? That is so unreasonable." Chapter 196. Cut the crap. Leave something behind before you leave. Yi Qin pointed out his right index finger in the air. Streams of invisible finger power shot out, blocking his opponent from all directions. There was only one finger power left in the middle. The brown-robed middle-aged man's expression changed. This finger power could even penetrate his Jun Qi palm print, and if it landed on his body, it would be disastrous. However, he was wrong. The power of the void-shattering finger art could only slightly injure him at most. It couldn't even seriously injure him. Gold-shattering finger. The middle finger and thumb of his right hand turned into a golden color as he flicked out his finger. Pap! The 2 finger powers clashed together, and the Qi spread out in all directions. The power of the void-shattering finger art has been cancelled out. It should be a mid-rank Earthrealm finger art. Yi Qin understood. Although the void-shattering finger art was at a very high rank, Yi Qin had not even learned 1/10 of it. Therefore, he could not do anything to a low-rank, mid-rank finger art. If it did not have the effect of breaking Jin Qi, he might have been shattered by the finger power. Kill. His left index finger kept pointing out, breaking the Jin Qi, while his right hand held the sword and waved out the sword. At this moment, Yi Qin's fighting power had reached its limit, which he had never thought of before. The middle-aged man in brown kept stepping back. After a few rounds of fighting, he had roughly figured out Yi Qin's finger art. It should be a finger art that could break Jin Qi, and its attacking power was not that high. With the strength of his protective Jin Qi, it should be able to block out 60 to 70% of Yi Qin's power, and the remaining 30 to 40% would not be that powerful. At most, it would only slightly wound him. On the other hand, his gold-shattering finger art was very powerful and should be able to break through his protective Zhenqi easily. However, Yichen obviously knew about this weakness. Yichen used his left hand to break through his protective Zhenqi, while his right hand used his sword art to attack his weak spot. Flower on finger. Taking a deep breath, the middle-aged man let out a low growl. His middle finger that was on his thumb flicked out, creating a blurry shadow. Countless light golden finger powers clashed with each other in the air, layer upon layer, and eventually formed a beautiful golden flower, attacking towards Yichen. This move is powerful. As soon as the golden flower appeared, Yichen immediately sensed its structure. That thin golden petal contained an extremely horrifying cutting power, and his protective Zhenqi could not block it at all. He was afraid that even his King Kong jade body would be crushed by it. He stuffed 3 Zhenqi replenishing pills into his mouth, swallowed one, and hid the other 2 in his mouth, just in case he needed them. The Zhenqi inside Yichen's body started to circulate crazily in a mysterious way, and finally compressed together, pouring into his right arm and into his index finger through a special meridian. His whole index finger suddenly became illusory, and the air around it started to twist. Break! The illusory index finger enlarged by more than 10 times in the air. It was as thick as an arm, and like a shooting star, it struck the center of the golden flower. Bang, 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 bang. The golden flower exploded, and the illusory index finger vanished in a thin air. The brown-robed middle-aged man was shocked. The flower-blossoming finger was the last move of the gold-shattering finger. It was extremely powerful, but it had been blocked. What kind of finger art was that? Could it be that he had underestimated it? Mr. Jean, let's work together to kill this brat. Otherwise, he will be a disaster in the future. Yuan Zhonghua appeared next to the middle-aged man out of nowhere. There was still blood on the corner of his mouth, and the clothes on his right arm were fluttering in the air as if there was no flesh or blood inside. The middle-aged man who was called Mr. Jean smiled. I am only here to stop the fight. I'm not interested in your fight. Yuan Zhonghua sneered. Mr. Jean, the others might not know about you, but I do. You have killed countless warriors and taken all their wealth. Hee, you do know a lot. The smile on Mr. Jin's face did not change. But in the eyes of Yuan Zhonghua and Yi Chun, it was a very dangerous and creepy smile. Then what do you think? Although Yuan Zhonghua said that he was secretly on guard against Mr. Jin, he had been wounded quite badly. His right arm and his back had almost been sucked dry by the minor blood demon body separating great art. If he continued to perform the minor blood demon body separating great art, his whole body would turn into a mummy, and there would be no cure in this world. Working with Mr. Jin was because he wanted to kill Yi Chun for good, but he was more worried that Mr. Jin would kill him after killing Yi Chun. The good thing was that he had the power to protect himself, and he believed that Mr. Jin knew that. I want to stop the fight, but this brat was just too bloodthirsty. He would kill anyone he saw. You know, one should forgive people when possible. God is kind to all living things. In order to prevent others from being harmed by him, I have no choice but to work with you and kill this little devil. Mr. Jin always appeared in the heavy mystery mountains. Whenever he saw warriors fighting, he would step in and help the wounded side by stopping the fight. Then, he would take the chance to kill the other side. By then, the wounded side would not be able to fight with him for the wealth, and it would be easy for him. But of course, if there was a chance, he would not mind killing one of them, and then killing the one who was cooperating with him. That way, he would have 2 shares of the wealth. However, this time, he had made a mistake. Yi Chen's battling power was not that powerful, but that finger art of his had scared him. Yi Chen looked very serious. Mr. Jin's power was just as powerful as Yuan Zhonghua when he was at his peak. He was not a simple guy, especially that gold-shattering finger art, which was able to compete with his void-shattering finger art, which had taken away some of his advantages. As for his nonsense, Yi Chen did not care about it all. The path of a warrior had always been to walk on mountains of corpses and oceans of blood. If people wanted to kill him, then he would kill them. After getting Mr. Jin's reply, Yuan Zhongbo looked at Yi Chun with confidence. I have said it before. Today, the heavy mystery mountains will be your burial ground. Yi Chun said lightly. The next time we meet, I will beat you until you become a mummy. Yuan Zhongbo swallowed a mouthful of blood, his eyes filled with killing intent. Mr. Jin shook his head. A life and death battle is not the solution. I will give you one chance. Put down the storage ring on your finger as compensation for Brother Yuan's injury. I will not ask for anything, as long as you hand over this finger art manual and let me destroy it in front of everyone. Can't you say something normal? With a pellet that could instantly replenish his Zhen Qi, Yi Chun was not afraid of wasting his Zhen Qi. He performed his void-shattering finger art, and a shadow of his index finger attacked toward the two. Little devil, you are so stubborn. Mr. Jin flicked his finger at a fast speed, and a gold flower appeared. At the same time, he said to Yuan Zhongbo, I will block him, and you use your sword qi to break his protective Zhen Qi. All right. Yuan Zhongbo grabbed a bright red spirit plant and put it into his mouth. He chewed for a couple of times before swallowing it down. Feeling that his qi and blood had recovered a bit, his body flashed, drawing a red arc in the air. He went around to Yi Chun's back and threw out a sword attack. Dang! The Star Scar sword appeared in his hand as Yi Chun blocked out the incoming attack with his sword. With the attacking power of the sword qi, he increased his speed and shot towards Mr. Jin. His finger power seemed to have covered the entire surreal space. Perfect timing. Mr. Jin knew about the void-shattering finger art, so he was not afraid of close combat. He turned around and faced Yi Chun, finger against finger. They wanted to see who would be the first one to collapse. Pop, pop, pop. The two were exchanging attacks at an extremely fast speed. Within a second, they had already exchanged dozens of finger attacks. Each finger attack had canceled out each other, and neither of them could do anything to the other. Blood Eagle 3 sword attacks. Yuan Zhongbo was having a headache. This brat was extremely cunning. Seeing that he and Mr. Jin had teamed up, Yi Chun had chosen to fight close combat immediately. Therefore, unless Yuan Zhongbo chose to fight close combat as well, he would not be able to help at all. That sword attack had been stored for a long time before it could be thrown out. It was like he had eyes on his back. Yi Chun's real body walked out of the Zhen Qi shadow, letting the Zhen Qi shadow take that sword attack for him. Then, he jumped towards Mr. Jin again. Whatever. With the two of us teaming up, can we still not beat him? Flashing his body, Yuan Zhongbo also joined in the close combat area. One finger and one sword. The two's cooperation was not perfect, but it was not that bad either. They had locked Yi Chun in a controllable area. Separate, Yi Chun did not change his expression. His body shook once, and 4 human shadows flew out. It was hard to tell which one was the real one. Kill. Yuan Zhongbo had cut down 2 human shadows with 1 sword attack, while the other 2 had been blocked by Mr. Jin. After killing one of them, the remaining one would be the real one. Separate again. Swallowing a pellet that was hidden in his mouth, Yi Chun's Zhen Qi recovered to its peak. He performed his separating shadow, flying art again and again. 3 human shadows appeared one after another, stacking on top of each other. They attacked the 2 from different angles, not giving them any chance to team up. So tricky. How come his Zhen Qi is never going to run out? Mr. Jin was quite regretful. If he had known that Yi Chun had so many tricks up his sleeves, he would not have been so greedy. If he could not kill Yi Chun today, then he might have to face crazy revenge in the future, which was not what he wanted. Yuan Zhongbo yelled, Mr. Jin, do not hide your ace attacks anymore. You can see that he is quite troublesome. All right, today I will start a massacre. Mr. Jin pointed at his body a couple of times with his finger. The Zhen Qi vibration suddenly increased. It seemed to be a secret martial art that could increase one's battling power. However, this martial art was obviously incomplete. After performing it, Mr. Jin could not help but puke out a mouthful of blood, and his face turned pale gold. After clashing with Mr. Jin's finger attack, Yi Chun was blown away immediately. He thought to himself, his opponent's battling power has increased by more than 10%. I cannot drag this any longer. Up until now, Yi Chun had been relying on his separating shadow flying art the most. Without it, he would not be able to dodge most of the attacks. Although the void-shattering finger art was effective in breaking Jinqi, it was still not as good as the separating shadow flying art. Right now, there was only one sword attack that he could use. The one sword attack had improved along with his cultivation, and it was still his biggest ace attack. Mr. Jin's Jinqi protection was obviously not as good as Yuan Zhongguo's. Forcing Yuan Zhongguo away with one finger attack, Yi Chen's body kept shaking. Countless Jinqi shadows shot out, blurring everything. Some of them were standing side by side, some were moving up and down, and some were flying at an extreme speed. What was more horrifying was that there were a lot of Jinqi shadows that overlapped with each other, making it hard to tell which one was the real one. Two Jinqi shadows shot out towards Mr. Jin, with Yi Chen's real body hidden within. Break! Boom! A loud explosion was heard. One of the human shadows had been shattered, and the other one's surface had been shattered as well, revealing Yi Chen's real body. Yi Chen held his sword with both of his hands, focusing all of his attention on the Starscar sword. He threw out a sword attack from above, and the light blue sword light formed into a line. The one sword attack from a close distance. Mr. Jin sensed that something was not right, but it was already too late for him to perform his gold-shattering finger attack. He hurried to push his Jinqi protection layer, making it thicker than it had ever been. At the same time, he put his right middle finger on his thumb, wanting to hit Yi Chen's body the second he blocked out his opponent's sword attack. Chapter 197. Swoosh! The sound of paper being cut open was heard. Mr. Jin's protective Jinqi layer did not last long under that sword attack. Soon it was cut in half. The light blue sword light drew a bloody line on his chest, slanted and clean. You dared to cut open my defense with one sword attack. You should die as well. His bloody body was blown backward. Mr. Jin's face was twisted as he flicked out his middle finger that was on his thumb. The powerful finger power had also pierced through Yi Chen's protective Jinqi layer and landed on his chest. Boom! Yi Chen could only feel like his chest had been struck by lightning. The sound of his ribs breaking could be heard clearly. Then, a huge wave of power blew him away. From Yuan Zhongguo's perspective, he could not tell who was hit first. All he could see was Yi Chen waving his sword and Mr. Jin flicking his finger. Both of them were blown away. It would be best if both of us were wounded. Blood Eagle 5 sword attacks. His powerful Jinqi was poured into his great sword. The second Yi Chen was wounded, Yuan Zhongguo's arm turned into a shadow. He threw out 5 beams of sword qi within a blink of an eye. These 5 beams of sword qi, 1 in the front, 2 in the top, and 2 in the bottom, formed into the sharp beak of an eagle. Huge wings, and a pair of sharp claws that could even pierce through steel, all of them were attacking towards Yi Chen at an extremely fast speed. The air that it touched was instantly cut into pieces and could not gather together again. I have been watching out for you. His body was still flying backward. Nobody knew when, but Yi Chen's index finger started to turn blurry. The air around his fingers started to twist rapidly, creating a small pattern. Without even looking, Yi Chen pointed out his finger to his left. Boom, 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 boom. The sharp blood-red sword qi was shattered upon touching it. The index finger went through it and landed on Yuan Zhongguo's protective Jinqi layer. His protective Jinqi layer exploded. Yuan Zhongguo made a muffled sound as his skinny body fell onto the ground. All 3 of them were wounded. It seemed like all 3 of them were wounded, and none of them had the upper hand. This kid is so fucking hard to deal with. Yuan Zhongguo and Mr. Jin both had the same thought. If they were in Yi Chen's place, even if their battling power was increased by 30%, they would still not be able to win against the 2 of them. However, as the fight went on, they had fallen into their opponent's fighting style and were being led by the nose. Their 5-point advantage had turned into 4 points, and then 4 points had turned into 3 points. Now, the 3-point advantage had disappeared, and it had become a draw. If this kid isn't killed, there will never be a day of peace. Spitting out a mouthful of blood, Mr. Jin sprinkled some healing powder on his wound. As soon as he landed on the ground, he dashed toward Yi Chun, leaving a series of afterimages behind him. Yes, we can't let him leave alive, even if we have to pay a small price. If Mr. Jean was not here, Yuan Zhongbua would have run away a long time ago. Right now, with the power of the two of them, they still had the chance to kill Yi Chun. Once he escaped, they would have to worry about him in the future. Seeing Mr. Jean rushing toward Yi Chun, Yuan Zhongbua did not care about his wounded body anymore. He formed a bloody Zhen Qi eagle outside his body, flapped its wings, and drew a bloody arc in the air. The two's attacks arrived almost at the same time, shattering Yi Chun's body. Not right. It was another Zhen Qi afterimage, and it was 3 Zhen Qi afterimages stacked on top of each other, looking so real. Damn it, I got tricked by this brat again. Mr. Jean and Yuan Zhongbua looked around, trying to find out where Yi Chun's real body was. Behind a dozens of meters tall hill, Yi Chun was standing there with his back straight. Wounding them is already the best I can do. Being greedy will only make me lose more than I gain. He understood very well that it was not because he was powerful enough to create such a situation. It was because he had controlled the battle very well, and the separating shadow flying art was the most important one. Letting out a breath, Yi Chun threw out a punch onto the hill. Boom! The whole hill was shattered into pieces, turning into hundreds and thousands of huge rocks that were thrown out, covering Yuan Zhongbua and Mr. Jean who were in front of the hill. After doing all that, Yi Chun left behind a Zhen Qi afterimage as his real body flashed into the distance. The sky full of rocks had been shattered. Yuan Zhongbua and Mr. Jean saw Yi Chun's Zhen Qi afterimage immediately. They were just about to make their moves when they suddenly stopped. I let him get away, shattering the Zhen Qi afterimage with one finger. Mr. Jin's face looked very bad. Yuan Zhongbua tried to comfort himself. Once a warrior reaches the clasping Yuan realm, it is not something that can be done in a day or two. There is no need to be afraid of him. After all, you and I are still more powerful than him. If it were not for the fact that he is so cunning, he would have been killed by us already. You are right. Next time we meet, we will not give him any chance. The two glanced at each other, and Yuan Zhongbua suddenly backed out for dozens of steps. His wounds were way more serious than Mr. Jin's, and he would not be able to win against him alone. Mr. Jean felt a bit regretful. Being able to kill Yuan Zhongbua was indeed a good thing. Thousands of miles away from the heavy, mysterious mountain, there was a normal-looking mountain. It was thousands of meters tall and had a radius of 7 to 8 miles. It was a barren land with barely any people around. In the middle of the mountain, there was a hidden cave. It was half blocked by huge rocks and was full of weeds. Mr. Jin's finger power was extremely aggressive. Even my King Kong J body was almost pierced through. Without half a month of rest, I would not be able to get back to my peak condition. All right, I will rest in this cave for a while and see if I can train my mysterious great art to the 10th realm. The 10th realm of the mysterious Zhen Qi should be even more powerful than the Zhen Qi trained by normal mid-rank Earth realm martial arts. My attacking power should be even more powerful. Sitting on the dry ground, a lot of thoughts flashed through Yi Chun's mind. The pure Jade body boosting spell was a low-rank Earth realm body training martial art, and Yi Chun had already trained the 5th spell, the King Kong J body. With this powerful body, Yi Chun dared to fight against his opponent. Although that finger art was powerful, it would not be able to pierce through his mysterious Zhen Qi layer and his King Kong J body. He believed that Mr. Jin's wounds were way more serious than his, since the one sword attack was not that easy to handle. As for the mysterious great art, he had gotten it from the Heaven Dream ancient region. It was one of the top of the mid-rank Earth realm martial arts, especially the 11th realm, which would allow him to produce a mouthful of Zhen Yuan that only astral-reaching realm warriors could have. It would definitely become one of Yi Chun's new ace attacks. By then, killing Yuan Zhongbua and Mr. Jean would only take him 2 to 3 attacks. With his current peak level 9th realm, the quality of his Zhen Qi had already reached the same level as Mr. Jean, who had reached the late clasping Yuan realm. Let's not worry about that for now. Rest is the most important thing. Getting rid of all the distracting thoughts, Yi Chun swallowed a healing pellet and closed his eyes to meditate. There was no sun or moon in the mountain. 10 days had passed in a blink of an eye. On this day, Yichen opened his eyes again. A sharp light flashed through his eyes, which looked like the sword light and sword chi of a sword artist, extremely sharp. I guessed it right. Only battles can help me to improve faster. After half a month of rest, Yichen's cultivation had been completely stabilized, and he was only one step away from the mid-clasping Yuan realm. Besides that, his mysterious Zhen Qi, which had been quiet for a long time, had finally started to show signs of breaking through to the 10th realm. It was indeed a very fast improvement. I should strike while the iron is hot. I might as well break through to the 10th realm here before I leave. A determined look flashed through his eyes. Yichen stood up and walked out of the half-closed cave. After taking a few breaths, he went back into the cave and completely sealed the entrance. Looking from the outside, people would only think that there was nothing in there, only a pile of rocks and weeds. No one would notice that there was a cave behind the rocks and that there was someone training in the cave. He swallowed the spirit chi and spirit pellets. Since he was not training his Zhen Qi, Yichen did not need to use the low-rank soul stones to absorb the Yuan Qi from them. The mysterious Zhen Qi followed the unique meridians of the mysterious art, slowly but powerfully running. With each cycle, Yichen could feel that he had absorbed a little bit of impurities from his Zhen Qi and was getting closer to the 10th realm. The 36th cycle, the 72nd cycle, the 360th cycle. Only until his meridians started to hurt a little did Yichen stop running his Zhen Qi. He sat there with his legs crossed and closed his eyes to rest, not moving at all. The human body had the ability to repair itself, and a martial artist's healing ability was even more powerful than a normal human being's. Meridians would become tougher as their cultivation increased. It was said that once a martial artist reached the astral reaching realm, he or she would be able to run Zhen Yuan continuously for a month without damaging his or her meridians. Once a martial artist reached the Sea of Souls realm, he or she would be able to run Zhen Qi for 10 times longer, which would be more than enough for a year. As for what would happen in the life and death realm, normal people would not be able to understand. Even Yichen did not know if the training of life and death realm warriors was the same. Waiting until his meridians had almost recovered, Yichen continued to run his mysterious Zhen Qi. The spirit, Qi, and spirit pellets were consumed one by one, and the days passed by one after another. The weeds outside started to wither, and a layer of frost covered them. It turned out that the winter of the Black Dragon Empire had arrived, and everything was bleak. A woodsman was walking on the mountain road, carrying a huge wild boar on his shoulder. The huge wild boar was a rank 2 demonic beast called the Red-Eye Battle Boar. Even mortal realm stage 7 or 8 warriors would not be able to compete with it. This woodsman was able to kill a Red-Eye Battle Boar, so he must be at least at the mortal realm stage 8. Anyone below the mortal realm stage 5 is considered a normal human being. I could be considered the #1 warrior in this village. The woodsman thought to himself, then found a pile of rocks and sat down. Yeah, the natural Yuan Qi here is strange. Why does it feel like it's going into a hole? As a mortal realm warrior, the woodsman was not unfamiliar with the natural Yuan Qi. He thought of a possibility that there might be some kind of magical plant growing in that pile of rocks. A magical plant that could absorb the natural Yuan Qi was extremely valuable. It could easily be sold for thousands of gold, and if it could increase one's cultivation, it would be even more amazing. All of a sudden, the woodsman could not resist the itch in his heart. He also wanted to become a condensing reality realm warrior and explore the outside world, but he was too old. It would be impossible for him to do so within the next 10 years. If he could find a magical plant that could increase his cultivation, then it would not be a problem. The woodsman put down the Red-Eye Battle Boar and started to move the rocks. Halfway through, the woodcutter took a few steps back. Between the cracks of the rocks, there was actually a glaring blue light seeping out. Strand by strand, the blue light filled the air. That piercing aura caused the woodcutter to feel a chill run down his spine. His hair stood on end. It was several times more terrifying than the fourth-level demonic beast he had seen from afar. Whoosh! The air vibrated, and a light ripple spread out. The frost on the ground cracked, turning into ice shards. The ice shards shattered and turned into a white mist. The white mist was blown away and spread out in all directions. Then, the remaining half of the rocks started to shake, making a crashing sound. Seeing this, the woodsman felt an invisible pressure on his heart. Chapter 198. Weird. Let's back off a bit first. Carrying the battle boar, the axeman took dozens of steps back and jumped onto a high ground. He then hid behind a huge rock, staring at the pile of rocks without blinking. Boom! The blue light exploded. Hundreds of rocks were blown away like they were caught in a terrifying storm, shooting out in all directions. Danger! The axeman's face was pale. He dropped the battle boar and lied on the ground. The high ground looked like it had been hit by an earthquake, shaking violently. Looking from the cave, one could see that the high ground was full of holes, not much better than a hornet's nest. The only reason it was still standing was because of the huge amount of iron minerals that no one had discovered before. After a long time, the axeman crawled up from the ground. Looking at the high ground that was full of cracks, he could not help but be shocked. He subconsciously looked at the pile of rocks. The pile of rocks had disappeared, and what appeared in his sight was a pitch-black cave. The air outside the cave was like a wave. Pap, 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 pap. Footsteps were heard, and a human figure walked out slowly. Finally reached the 10th level of the mysterious great art. The Jinshi quality is indeed different. The human figure was indeed Yi-chan. He had been training in the cave, and had finally reached the 10th level of the mysterious great art. The 10th level of the mysterious Jinshi was extremely powerful, much more powerful than the 9th level. Yi-chan started to wonder if the mysterious great art was really a mid-rank Earth Realm martial art. Why was it so much more powerful than normal mid-rank Earth Realm martial arts? Even the best ones should not have this kind of Jinshi quality. Waving his hand, the pile of rocks on the ground were all shattered into dust. Yi-chan looked at the axeman. Did I hurt you just now? There was actually someone training in there. This person must be very powerful. The axeman stuttered, "No, I am sorry for disturbing your training. I will leave now. Please don't kill me." Even though Woodcutter hadn't gone out to wander before, he had heard from some passing practitioners that high-level practitioners were most afraid of people disturbing their cultivation. Once they were provoked, they would kill at the slightest provocation without mercy. The other party had a friendly expression, so it couldn't be a sign that he was about to kill someone, right? Yi-chan smiled. If it was a few days ago, I might have been very angry. Now, it doesn't count as disturbing me. Yi-chan wasn't joking. A few days ago was his opportunity to break through. If he was interrupted, he wouldn't kill anyone, but he would definitely be angry. As for the consequences of being angry, he didn't know. Oh, that's good. The woodcutter patted his chest and broke out in cold sweat. By the way, are you a woodcutter nearby? The woodcutter nodded. My house is in Huayang Village, which is more than 20 miles away. It's not far from here. Usually, when I have nothing to do, I come here to hunt and share the meat with the villagers. Give it to the villagers. Yi-chan smiled. He could tell that the axeman was at the peak of Mortal Realm Stage 8. If he was outside, he would only be a commoner, but in a remote village, he would be considered as a powerful warrior. Not everyone had the opportunity to practice martial arts. I'm about to go down the mountain. Let's go together. In a flash, Yi-chan appeared on the mountain path. All right, wait for me. Carrying the red-eye battle boar, the woodcutter ran as fast as he could, following closely behind Yi-chan. To be able to talk to a powerful warrior, even if it was just walking with him, was already a rare thing. If the villagers knew about this, they would definitely worship him even more. After all, the most powerful warrior the villagers had ever seen was only a mid-condensing reality realm warrior. Judging from his chi, he was not even 1/10 as powerful as Yi-chan. The mountain was not very high, and the two soon reached the foot of the mountain. Yi-chan was about to leave, but he suddenly frowned. What's wrong? The woodcutter was a bit worried. He knew that Yi-chan was about to leave. Yi-chan said seriously, a very strong demonic chi covering the sky and the ground. It doesn't look like a single beast, but more like a lot of beasts gathered together. A lot of beasts? The woodcutter froze for a second, then said in shock, "Isn't that a beast wave? Is there really going to be a beast wave this winter?" Yichun looked at him. "Do you know what's going on?" The woodcutter shook his head, then nodded. 2 months ago, a warrior who was passing by told me that there would be a lot of beasts this winter. He told me to go to the city as soon as possible, or else I would lose my life. At that time, I thought he was joking. There hasn't been a beast wave in the past 300 years. How could it happen now? He was right. The beast wave is really coming. Yichun looked up at the sky. The clear sky had started to darken, and there was a gray chi flow hovering above, forming huge dark clouds, covering the sky and moving towards them at an extremely fast speed. That horrifying aura even shocked Yichun. "Not good. There are only normal people in the village. I have to go inform them now." "You are too slow. Let me give you a ride." Grabbing the woodcutter's shoulder with his right hand, Yichun extended his body and flew out like a huge bird. He said, "Point me in the right direction." "Thank you, this way." The woodcutter was very grateful. Yichun was obviously a top-rank warrior, but he did not have any arrogance at all, which was completely different from what he remembered of top-rank warriors. Yichun did not think too much about it. After coming to this world, he had already learned about the rule of power, but he still had the mark of that world in his bones. If he ran into someone who needed help, and he had the power, he would not reject it. Otherwise, what would be the point of being a powerful warrior? Yichun's speed was extremely fast, and within dozens of blinks, he had already traveled dozens of miles. Yeah, there are a lot of beasts in the sky. The beast wave was something that happened quite often in this true spirit continent. As for why it would happen, no one knew for sure. All they knew was that at a certain time, the beasts in a certain place would go crazy and start to attack the places where humans lived. The beasts that were closest to the place would undoubtedly arrive the fastest, especially the flying beasts. They were the ones that killed the most people in the early stages. They are coming. The woodcutter raised his head to take a look. Not far away, the sky was covered in darkness. Among them were Class 3 demonic beasts, red smelting bird, blood crow, flamingo, Class 4 demonic beasts, twin-headed bird, four-clawed eagle, flying lizard, Class 5 demonic beasts, ghost-head eagle, winged wolf. There were too many of them. Any one of the flying demonic beasts could tear him into pieces. Tornado, broken clouds. The star scar sword appeared in his hand as Yichun threw out a sword attack towards the place with the most flying beasts. The next second, the tornado mixed with Zhun Qi swept over with a whistling sound, and the sword Qi shot out. It didn't matter if it was the 3rd grade flying demon beasts, the 4th grade flying demon beasts, or the 5th grade flying demon beasts. All of them fell from the sky one after another. It was as if a black rainstorm had fallen. He killed dozens of flying beasts with one sword attack. The woodcutter's eyes were wide open. He thought that Yichun was only at early clasping Yuan realm and would be able to compete with normal rank 5 beasts. But now, it seemed like even rank 6 beasts would not be able to compete with him. Plus, he looked so young, about the same age as his nephew. Actually, he had guessed it right. Yichun's cultivation had not improved that much, but with the entry-level sword intent, plus the 10th level of the Great Mysterious Art, Yichun's attacking power was already almost the same as the older late clasping Yuan realm warriors. Right now, if Mr. Jean or Yuan Zhongbo were to fight against him alone, he would have 70% chance to wound them badly and 20% chance to kill them completely. Roar! A huge beast with wings on its back and eagle claws dove towards the two. Its speed soon surpassed the speed of sound, which was even faster than Yichun. Not good. It is a rank 6 beast, the eagle tiger beast. In the city, one could buy a beginner beast book with 100 gold, which included all the beasts from rank 1 to 6. The eagle tiger beast was one of them, and its power could be ranked in the top 100. The woodcutter had bought one before and kept it in his house. Yichun did not care too much about it. Compared to the wind wolf, this eagle tiger beast was way too weak. Judging from its chi, it was just like a normal late clasping Yuan realm warrior. Shocking cloud. With a sword attack, a thunderous sound was heard. Swoosh. The eagle-tiger beast came fast, but it died fast as well. Its head had been cut in half by the sword chi. It was killed just like that. The woodcutter's mouth was wide open. Soon, the two arrived at the village. The beast wave is coming. Everyone go to the city. After landing on the ground, the woodcutter yelled out with all of his strength. What? The beast wave is coming? How is this possible? We haven't had a beast wave for 300 years. Brother Gao, are you kidding me? Yeah. Although you're the #1 warrior in our village, you can't scare us like that. Hearing them, most of the energetic young men did not believe it. With one sword attack, Yi Chen cracked the small hill outside of the village and said with a cold voice, if you don't want to die, go to the city. You won't be able to leave even if you want to. A high-level warrior? The villagers who ran out of their houses were shocked. The village head was an old man with white hair. He yelled, a high-level warrior would not lie to us. Everyone, go to the city now. Don't bring anything with you. Just bring some food and valuables. The villagers screamed and ran back to their houses to pack their belongings. All of a sudden, the sound of shouting, crying, and rummaging made the atmosphere even heavier. Standing on top of the village wall, Yi Chen frowned. In the distance, a black mass of flying beasts was approaching. There were a lot of them, and with his power alone, he would not be able to protect all of them. Plus, these were only some of the beasts in the early stages of the beast wave. The longer it dragged on, the more beasts there would be. By then, the number would not be calculated by thousands, but by tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or even millions. A village and a town would not be able to handle it. Only a huge city could hold on for a while. As for how long it could last, it would depend on whether it was a small beast wave or a medium one. Normally, there would not be rank 7 beasts appearing in a small beast wave, while a medium beast wave would send out rank 7 beasts one by one. Only astral-reaching realm warriors would be able to handle it. As for the large beast wave, Yi Chen did not even dare to think about it, because once it happened, even the royal city might not be able to handle it. Then, it would be a real disaster for humanity. Shoo! 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 Shoving 3 Zhanqi replenishing pellets into his mouth, Yi Chen held his star scar sword with both of his hands, performing his tornado-broken clouds a couple of times. Countless tornadoes were created, attacking towards the flying beasts in the distance. Swoosh! The flying beasts fell down one after another, clearing up the sky. Most of the beasts that had gathered here were from the mountains or the forests nearby, so there were not many of them. Under the lead of the village head, the villagers who had packed up their belongings started to head east. Hundreds of miles away, there was a small city called the Iron City. Chapter 199. Young Warrior. All the villagers are heading towards the Iron City. I think it will take them 2 or 3 days to get there. The axeman walked over to inform Yi Chen. Yi Chen jumped down from the wall and asked, what are the villages within 10 miles of Huaiyang Village? In Liyang Village, Big Mountain Village, Lu Family Village, Big River Village, Willow Village, and Yellow Mountain Town. The axeman said. Yi Chen said, the beasts are very fast. I am afraid they will catch up before we reach the Iron City. You tell the villagers to go to the Yellow Mountain Town first. The more people there are, the safer we'll be. In the early stage, the beasts would not be very powerful. Occasionally, there would be rank 5 or 6 beasts that Yi Chen could handle by himself. But most of the villagers were normal people. Even a rank 1 or 2 beast would be able to tear them into pieces. They would need a large group of warriors to protect them. As a town, the Yellow Mountain Town would not lack condensing reality realm warriors. If they were lucky, they might even be able to find a few clasping Yuan realm warriors. Young warrior, you are right. The axeman was not stupid. He knew that Yi Chen's power was limited, and it would be impossible for him to protect the hundreds of people in the village. In front of thousands of beasts, any random attack would be able to kill all the people in the village. All right, let's go. After performing 4 tornado-broken clouds in a row, the horrifying tornado had killed almost all of the flying beasts in the sky. Yi Chen grabbed the axeman and flew towards the direction where the villagers were heading. After an hour, they met the villagers of Liang village. After 6 hours, the villagers of the big mountain village had gathered. The number of people had grown from 300 to more than 1,000. This group of people was heading towards the Yellow Mountain town, which was 10 miles away. Xiao Gao, who is this young man? He killed so many beasts by himself? The chief of Liang village asked the axeman. The axeman scratched his head and said proudly, "He is a high-level warrior. As for his name, I did not ask. I didn't ask. Anyway, he's a powerful high-level martial artist. Yeah, if it weren't for him, I'm afraid we wouldn't have been able to survive." The big mountain village chief stared at the corpses of the demonic beasts in the distance and was shocked. This was already the third wave of beasts that Yi Chun had killed. Each wave had hundreds of beasts, and the most dangerous one was from the front of the group. Obviously, they were beasts that lived near the Yellow Mountain town. Yi Chun was able to fight against an experienced late clasping Yuan realm warrior, and he also had a couple of wide-range attacks from his Sky Cloud sword art. Added with the Zhenqi replenishing pellets, he was barely able to protect the group from harm. Even so, over 100 people had died during the 30-kilometer journey. There are more demonic beasts coming from that direction. There are so many of them, at least 1,000. Along the way, some warriors who were passing by volunteered to protect the group. Most of them were mid-condensing reality realm warriors, and there was only one late condensing reality realm warrior. The one who spoke was a man in his 30s, holding a huge machete in his hand, which was dripping with blood. Yi Chun said, "I will try my best to kill them. You guys protect the group." "All right, you be careful." The man knew that Yi Chun was very powerful, and the beasts in the early stage would not be able to hurt him. Shoo! With a shake of his body, Yi Chun split into 3 Zhenqi shadows and rushed towards the beast wave side by side. Kill! Yi Chun's real body created a tornado with his sword and attacked the beast wave, while the 3 Zhenqi shadows blocked the other beasts with their bare hands. After killing hundreds of beasts, Yi Chun could not hold on anymore. He yelled at the group, "Everyone get ready to fight. Don't worry, we're not here for nothing." Dozens of condensing reality realm warriors stood in front of the thousands of people. Although there were only a few of them, their aura was not weak at all. Some of the villagers who had reached Mortal Realm Stage 5 and above also walked out. They might not be able to deal with beasts above rank 2, but they could still kill rank 1 and rank 2 beasts. Roar! All of the beasts in the sky had been killed by Yi Chun, and all that was left were the low-rank beasts that could not fly. These beasts rushed towards the group of people, their roars coming one after another. A lot of the children were so scared that they started to cry. The women were shivering, holding their children tightly. Kill! 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 Under the lead of dozens of condensing reality realm warriors, including the axemen, all of the villagers who were powerful rushed up, their eyes bloodshot. Boom! 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 In the first attack, an early condensing reality realm warrior had his chest pierced by a wild boar beast tusk. He vomited blood and died. Soon after, another 10 villagers were trampled to death by the beasts. The axeman was quite lucky. The beast that was fighting with him was a rank 2 demonic beast, Mist Cow. It was not very powerful, but it was extremely huge. Therefore, the axeman did not have to worry about being trampled by other demonic beasts. Shoo! Appearing in the middle of the beast wave, Yi Chun held his Star Scar sword with both of his hands, waving it in 4 different directions. Swoosh! For dozens of meters, long sword Qi sliced open the ground. Wherever it went, all of the beasts were cut in half, their blood spilling everywhere. Tyrant Millennium. Just as the sword Qi passed through, Yi Chun threw a punch onto the ground. Rumble. The ground collapsed, and a huge pit with a radius of 10 meters appeared. The beasts in the front could not control their bodies and fell into the pit. The beasts behind them were too fast, so they could not stop their bodies in time. All of a sudden, at least dozens of beasts were buried in the pit. Not caring about killing the beasts that fell into the pit one by one, Yi Chun rushed towards the group of people. Some of the beasts were rushing towards them. "Mom, I am so scared." Seeing a huge rat beast rushing towards them, the kid curled up in the woman's arms. "Don't be scared. Mom is here." The woman's face was pale, but she tried to comfort the kid in her arms. The huge rat beast was a rank 3 beast. Before this, dozens of villagers had already had their heads bitten off by it, dying horribly. Now that it was rushing towards them, no one could stop it. Right at that moment, a fist landed on the head of the huge rat beast. The powerful fist power blew it away, its body shattering into pieces. Tell the others to stay together. Standing in front of the two, Yi Chen's sword was dripping with blood. Thank you so much. Many of the villagers in this area had died, and the population was sparse. The woman hurried to run towards the crowd with her kid, wiping her tears from time to time. Her man had just died right in front of her eyes. Killing without tiredness. On this day, Yi Chen had killed 2,000 to 3,000 beasts, which was more than all the times he had killed before. The killing intent on his body had made some of the low-rank beasts afraid to face him. Their movements were stiff, and even rank 3 and 4 beasts were shivering in fear. Only 15 minutes later, the battle was over. Thousands of beasts had died, and more than 200 humans had died. It was still because of Yi Chen's fast killing speed. Otherwise, no one would have been able to leave this place alive. Let's go. Hurry up. We need to reach the Yellow Mountain town before nightfall. Among the group, Yi Chen was undoubtedly the leader. With one order, everyone left the dead bodies of their family members behind and started to run. That late condensing reality realm warriors sighed. The beast wave is too horrifying. So many people have died in such a short time. Putting his star scar sword back into its scabbard, Yi Chen said with a heavy tone, "Let's not talk about it for now. When the real beast wave breaks out, the number of deaths would be in the tens of thousands. All we can do is try our best to protect the villagers and get into the city. Then we can rely on the city to fight against the beasts. Yeah, with the protection of the city, it will be much safer." The sun was setting, and the roars of the beasts could be heard everywhere. From afar, everyone could see the Yellow Mountain town standing on the ground. "We have arrived at the Yellow Mountain town. Let's work harder." The man stood next to Yi Chen and said with a tired voice. Yi Chen glanced at the man and the few condensing reality realm warriors who had survived. He was very impressed. Most of the passing warriors thought that the villagers were too slow, so they did not want to stay and protect them. Only these people were willing to help them. But after a few battles, half of them had been devoured by the beasts, and the rest of them were all wounded, some even disabled. Yi Chen could not help but ask, "Why did you choose to stay and protect them? If you ran by yourself, you could have made it to the town or the city first." The man asked back, "Then why did you stay? I remember that when we came here, you were the only one protecting the villagers. I am a clasping Yuan realm warrior. Why wouldn't I help if I could? Hee. Although I'm not as powerful as you, I have the same idea as you. I believe they're thinking the same." The man took out a piece of cloth from his pocket and wiped his blade. Soon, they arrived at the Yellow Mountain town. Great! Another clasping Yuan realm warrior. When the gate of the town opened, a 21 or 22-year-old young man walked up to Yi Chen. Yi Chen looked at the broken tall wall and said, "This place has been attacked by the beasts as well." The young man nodded. "From this afternoon until now, we have been attacked by 5 demon beasts in total. The largest one had 5,000 to 6,000 demon beasts, covering the entire mountain. Many people have already rushed towards the Iron City. I am staying to protect those who have not left." "I am Yi Chen, and you are?" "Tian Hao. The Yellow Mountain town will not be able to hold on for long. But it is already late. We have to stay here for another night. Let's fight together." Being able to see a clasping Yuan realm warrior, Yi Chen was very happy as well. During the beast wave, only condensing reality realm warriors and above would be able to kill the beasts in a large area. One more person would mean one more layer of protection. Tian Hao laughed and said, "I am not the only clasping Yuan realm warrior in the Yellow Mountain town. The other clasping Yuan realm warriors are guarding the other 3 town gates. Including you, there are 7 of them in total, and 3 of them are mid-clasping Yuan realm warriors. I think it should not be a problem to guard for one night. Since it has only been half a day, the real beast wave has not started yet." "Yeah, 7 people should be enough." Yi Chen let out a breath in relief. Having 7 clasping Yuan realm warriors in one town was definitely a blessing in disguise. The town was not that big, but because a lot of people had left before, the three villages did not feel crowded at all. Of course, there were also people from other villages nearby who had arrived. However, they were not as lucky as the Huayang village and the Liang village. Because there were no clasping Yuan realm warriors to protect them, they had lost a lot of people. Less than 100 people had made it to the Yellow Mountain town. Inside, all the restaurants. Everyone, eat as much as you can. The owner of the restaurant has already escaped to the Iron City. All the food is free. In all the weapon shops, everyone has a weapon. Don't take more, but don't take less. Tonight, we will be relying on them to kill the beasts. Facing the beast wave, everyone had to work together. This was something that would never happen in a peaceful time. On the street, looking at the crowd and warriors coming and going, Tian Hao said, I will take you to meet the other clasping Yuan realm warriors. Tonight, we will be partners. Yi Chen nodded. It was a pleasant meeting. Everyone was very confident about the addition of a clasping Yuan realm warrior. They knew very well that a clasping Yuan realm warrior could fight against dozens of condensing reality realm warriors. No matter in terms of attacking power or attacking range, it would not be on the same level. The night had shrouded the land. The atmosphere in the Yellow Mountain town had become very serious, including that of Yi Chen and the others. Roar, roar, roar. A beast roar was heard. It was not far from the Yellow Mountain town. No one knew how long it had been, but the rumbling sound could be heard everywhere. With the help of the moonlight, people with weapons could see a huge group of beasts in the distance. The ones running at the front were rank 1 and 2 beasts, followed by rank 3 and rank 4 beasts, and at the back were rank 5 and a few rank 6 beasts. These beasts were not rushing to attack the Yellow Mountain town. Instead, they were moving forward step by step. In front of the crowd, Tian Hao said with relief, there is only one rank 6 beast here. Judging from the beast chi vibration, it should be equivalent to a peak-level mid-clasping Yuan realm warrior. You and I will work together and kill it first. Yi Chen said, no need to be so troublesome. You help the others. I will handle the rank 5 beasts and rank 6 beasts. You alone? Tian Hao looked confused. Yi Chen did not answer with words. He waved his hand, and the star scar sword appeared in his hand. He took it out of the scabbard and threw a sword attack in front of him. Swoosh! The flat ground cracked open. The beasts at the front all fell down. The sword chi wave exploded in the group of beasts, killing another 7 rank 3 and 4 beasts. Such a powerful sword chi. Tian Hao was shocked. Just like Yi Chen, he was also a peak-level early clasping Yuan realm warrior. Although he did not make it into the top 72 in the last Hidden Dragon rank competitions, he thought that he would definitely be able to make it this time. He thought that Yi Chen would not be as powerful as him, but he did not expect that Yi Chen would be even more powerful than him. Roar! Seeing Yi Chen's arrogance, the rank 6 demonic beast roared in anger. As its demonic chi swept out, it quickly appeared in front of the group of demonic beasts. It opened its mouth and breathed out a huge fire wave, which rushed towards Yi Chen. Cut! From hundreds of meters away, Yi Chen threw out a sword attack. The blue sword chi sliced through the air like a shooting star. It not only cut open the flame wave, but also landed on the rank 6 beast body. Soon, this rank 6 beast body was cut in half before it could even show its power. A huge amount of blood splashed onto the ground. Impressive. I thought it would be a tough fight, but it seems like I don't have to. Tian Hao was shocked at first, then he was overjoyed. With Yi Chen's help, rank 6 beasts were no longer a threat to him. He only needed to kill beasts that were below rank 5. Before the beast group even got close, all the clasping Yuan realm warriors had already started their attacks. The rest of the warriors were ready to fight against the beasts at any second. Swirling winds and clouds, overlapping mountain ridges, Yi Chen had performed all of his wide-range sword attacks. Sword chi shot out in all directions, and huge groups of beasts fell onto the ground. Night battle. Tian Hao's power was not to be underestimated either. A pitch-black long blade appeared in his hand. As he waved the long blade, dozens of blade chi spread out with him as the center. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. With only the power of the two of them, most of the beasts could not even get close. Once they got within 300 meters, they would be killed by countless sword chi and blade chi. Even the rank 3 and 4 beasts could not survive. Only the rank 5 beasts could break through the sword chi and blade chi and escape. What welcomed them was a fist. The powerful fist had attracted hundreds of meters of yuan chi, and then it was thrown out. Boom, boom, boom. 3 to 4 rank 5 beasts exploded in the air. So powerful, we could not do anything. At least hundreds of beasts had died in their hands. The beasts behind them had just arrived, but they were all killed immediately. Even the rank 5 beasts were no exception. It is dangerous over there. Why don't we go and help them? All of the warriors in the back started to discuss. Yi-chun heard everyone's discussion and said loudly, "You guys send half of your people to other places. We will be enough here." Tian Hao said, "Brother Yi is right." Hearing him, half of the 100 people left, and only about 50 people were left. There were not many beasts in the first wave. There were only 2,000 to 3,000 beasts on Yi-chun and Tian Hao's side. After such a short while, half of them had already been killed by the two of them. Another rank 6 beast is coming. Is it an eagle-tiger beast? Tian Hao was shocked. Pap! Just as Tian Hao finished talking, that eagle-tiger beast had been cut into pieces by an extremely fast sword chi. It was as horrifying as thunder. Tian Hao was speechless. This was way too horrifying. A rank 6 beast could not even take one sword chi attack from him. This eagle-tiger beast was equivalent to a normal late clasping Yuan realm warrior. Putting a pellet into his mouth, Yi-chun looked very calm. This eagle-tiger beast was different from normal rank 6 beasts. If he wanted to kill it with one sword attack, he would have to use his ultimate move, the last movement of the Sky Cloud sword art, Supreme Sky Cloud. As for the one sword attack, he would try not to use it unless necessary, as it would consume a lot of his energy. As the battle went on, Tian Hao's Jin Chi was being consumed very quickly. However, he had quite a lot of pellets with him, some of which could instantly replenish 20 to 30% of his Jin Chi. He said, "Brother Yi, if you don't have enough pellets, I have some here. I am from the Alchemist Martial School, and I have a lot of them." Yi-chun said, "No need, I have a lot of pellets as well." Besides the calabash of Jin Chi replenishing pellets, he also had hundreds of normal Jin Chi replenishing pellets, which he had spent hundreds of thousands of gold to buy. After all, normal Jin Chi replenishing pellets were more than enough for normal use. There was no need to waste Jin Chi replenishing pellets. When all the beasts in this direction had been killed, the battles in the other directions had not finished yet. Yi-chun said, "I will go help the others first. Are you okay by yourself?" "Sure, you go ahead. I don't think it's safe over there. Rank 6 beasts are still quite powerful for us." Tian Hao sat on the ground with his legs crossed and started meditating. Hearing Yi-chun, he nodded. Swoosh! Extending his body, Yi-chun soon arrived at the south gate of the Yellow Mountain town. Without saying anything, Yi-chun threw out a sword attack and hit the rank 6 beast that was fighting with the clasping Yuan realm warrior. This rank 6 beast let out a cry and fell on the ground. Chapter 200. The one guarding the south gate was a mid-clasping Yuan realm warrior. Before Yi-chun arrived, he was the most powerful warrior in the Yellow Mountain town. However, his opponent was a rank 6 beast, the four-legged flamingo, which was as powerful as a late clasping Yuan realm warrior. Even after using all of his ace attacks, he still could not do anything to it. Instead, his arm had been scratched. Seeing Yi-chun kill the four-legged flamingo with only one sword attack, he opened his eyes wide in shock. "I will leave the rest of the beasts to you. I will go check out the other two sides." Flashing his body, Yi-chun flew across the sky of the Yellow Mountain town and arrived at the east gate. The situation here was not good. There were 2 rank 6 beasts, and there were only 2 clasping Yuan realm warriors. One was a mid-clasping Yuan realm warrior, and the other was an early clasping Yuan realm warrior. The early clasping Yuan realm warrior was about to be killed by the claw of the rank 6 beast. Performing his separating shadow flying art, Yi-chun's body became blurry. When he reappeared, he was already in between the beast and the human, throwing out a thunderous sword attack. Pap! The lightning-like blue sword light broke through the beast's protective beast chi and landed heavily on his chest. Then, the sword light shone brightly, exploding violently. Blood splashed everywhere. This aggressive rank 6 beast had been blown away by the sword light. There was a huge sword hole in its chest, which was quite chilling. "You go and heal yourself first," Yi-Chen said to the middle-aged man, who was quite badly wounded. "All right, thank you." The middle-aged man was just as shocked as the first one. However, it was obviously not the time for him to be shocked. He obediently stepped back, swallowed a pellet, and sat on the ground with his legs crossed to heal himself. He was trying to recover most of his fighting power before the next wave of beasts appeared. "Oh, little bro, you are quite powerful." The one who was fighting with the rank 6 beast was a beautiful lady in her 30s. She was holding a crescent blade in her hand and seemed to be on par with the beast. From time to time, she would use her ace attacks to leave bloody marks on the beast's body. Yi-Chan said, "The next wave of beasts could come at any time. You don't mind if I help you, right?" Clasping Yuan Realm warriors were very confident in their own power. If they went up there recklessly, they might annoy the lady, since she had already suppressed the rank 6 beast. "Sure, I couldn't ask for more." The beautiful woman smiled sweetly and didn't mind. Bang! The ground exploded as Yi-Chun violently dashed towards the beautiful woman's opponent, the level 6 two-headed Wolf King. Howl! One of the two-headed Wolf King's heads spat out a ring of light at Yi-Chun. The power of the light wave was unparalleled. Wherever it went, the ground would explode layer by layer, and the sky would be filled with rubble. Break! On the way, Yi-Chun slashed horizontally with his sword. The light wave split in the middle, and the thick blue sword chi instantly hit the double-headed Wolf King's body-protecting demonic chi. This two-headed Wolf King is not simple. The blue sword chi had been blocked by the protective beast chi and could not break through. At this moment, Yi-Chun finally realized how powerful that beautiful lady was. She seemed to be even more powerful than those mid-clasping Yuan Realm warriors outside the South Gate. Before, she had suppressed the double-headed Wolf King all by herself. The beautiful lady reminded Yi-Chun, "This is not a normal double-headed Wolf King. It is a mutated one. Its beast chi is very dense, and even my arc light blade could not break through its protective beast chi. You will have to use your ace attack." It's broken. In the beautiful lady's eyes, the blue sword chi did not disappear just like that. Instead, it turned into layers of sword chi that continuously landed on the double-headed Wolf King's protective Jin chi. Within 2 blinks of an eye, one of the double-headed Wolf King's heads had been cut off by the sword chi. Blood spurted out for dozens of meters. Arc light cut. As soon as the double-headed Wolf King's protective Jin chi was broken, the beautiful lady reacted quickly and threw out 3 blade attacks in a row, killing the double-headed Wolf King for good. Interesting. Are you interested in joining our Moon Pavilion? Don't worry, we are not a martial institution. We are just an organization. You don't have to leave your martial institution if you join us. The beautiful lady would not be stupid enough to ask Yi-Chun to leave his martial institution. With his age, Yi-Chun must be the most talented one in the martial institution. Yi-Chun said, "Not yet. Hee, you'll be interested in it in the future." The beautiful lady laughed. The expression on her face was obviously one of excitement. After that, Yi-Chun went to the north gate of the Yellow Mountain town to help. In fact, he did not need to go there, since there was not even a single rank 6 beast there. After the first wave of beasts had been killed, no one dared to sleep. They sat outside the town to rest and chat, drinking wine. As for cleaning up the dead bodies, they could not do it even if they wanted to. Under the beast wave, there would be no whole bodies left. All they could see was the ground covered with minced meat and blood. In the middle of the night, the second wave of beasts had arrived. The attack this time was even more intense than the previous wave. There were dozens of rank 6 beasts, and there were 3 to 4 of them in almost every direction. There were hundreds of rank 5 beasts, and the number of low-rank beasts was even more horrifying. There were tens of thousands of them, and they were everywhere. After 2 hours, the second wave of beasts had finally been killed. The number of warriors in the Yellow Mountain town had been reduced from the original 700 to 300. More than half of them had died under the claws of the beasts. The normal people in the town were not spared either. Half of the thousands of people had died, and the survivors were either hiding in the cellars or being saved by Yi Chun and the others. Besides that, there were finally some clasping Yuan realm warriors who had been killed. An early clasping Yuan realm warrior had been killed, and 3 others had been wounded. One of them had lost an arm. One more wave, and we will not be able to hold on anymore. Tian Hao was covered in blood, as he said sadly. Yi Chen's clothes were torn, but he was not wounded. He said, "The sun is coming out soon. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get everyone to the Iron City. That's the only way." After a quarter of an hour, more than 1,000 people left the broken Yellow Mountain town, walking towards the sun in the east. All of their faces were pale. Obviously, the beast attack last night had made them very tired and desperate. The good thing was that there was still hope in their eyes. Behind the crowd, Tian Hao had changed into a clean set of clothes and said with a bitter smile, "I have killed more beasts tonight than I have in the past few years. How could there be so many beasts?" The beautiful lady said, "The beasts are very territorial, but there are at least hundreds of thousands of beasts in a 1,000 miles radius mountain range. We had only been attacked in a small area." "You are right. We can only hope that there will not be any rank 7 beasts in the beast wave." Yi Chen looked very serious. If it were top rank 6 beasts like the Wind Wolf, they would still be able to fight them with the number of people. But once there were rank 7 beasts, the human wave attack would basically be useless. Relying on the city would be useless as well. Only astral reaching realm warriors of the same level would be able to make it. Tian Hao looked into the distance. There are still 200 miles to the Iron City. We have to speed up. At the same time, in different directions, countless people were gathering towards the area where the Iron City was located. Iron City, inside the mayor's mansion. "Mayor, right now the Iron City is already overcrowded. In the next few days, there will be even more people gathering here. This will be a huge burden." An elder in luxurious clothes reported to the middle-aged man on the main seat. The middle-aged mayor said, "Normal people stay on the ground and let all the warriors go up to the roof. That way, there will be more space. Right now, it is not about the number of people, but what if there are not enough people? We should all gather in the Iron City." The elder said with admiration, "Mayor, you are so wise. I asked you to find out how many clasping Yuan realm warriors there are in the Iron City. Have you found anything yet?" The mayor asked. "I have. Although the Iron City is a small city, there are more than 240 clasping Yuan realm warriors, and it is still increasing. Among them, there are many clasping Yuan realm warriors from the big martial institutions. Yeah, the beast wave is indeed dangerous, but can train the warriors' battling experience. The leaders of the big martial institutions should have plans for this. All right, are there any astral-reaching realm warriors coming?" "Not yet." The mayor frowned and mumbled to himself, "This is not easy. Right now, we're not sure if it will be a small beast wave or a mid-sized one. If there are rank 7 beasts, the Iron City would not be able to hold on. I hope it will not happen. I don't think it will be possible. Normally, rank 7 beasts would only be found in mid-sized mountains or forests. Within 10,000 miles of our Iron City, there are no mid-sized mountains or forests. The biggest mountain in the wasteland is only a small one, only a few thousand miles in radius." I hope so. After one day and one night of traveling, everyone was exhausted. A lot of normal people who were already injured had died on the way, and even more had died under the attacks of the beasts. The number of people has decreased again. I wonder how many will make it to the Iron City. Looking at the crowd, Yi Chun sighed. Right now, there were less than 1,000 people left, which was almost the same as the population of 3 villages. He then looked at the axeman who was not far away and smiled. He thought that he was quite lucky. He did not die in such a harsh battle, and even managed to break through from the peak of Mortal Realm Stage 8 to Stage 9. After this beast wave, there was hope for him to reach the condensing reality realm. Tian Hao looked at Yi Chan with admiration. You have killed 5 to 6,000 beasts by yourself, and I have only killed less than 1/3 of you." Every time the beasts attacked, Yichen would fight his way in the group of beasts by himself and kill the rank 6 beasts that were threatening. And every time, he would be able to escape unscathed, which made Tian Hao and the rest admire him. In their minds, there were people who were as powerful as Yi Chun, or even more powerful than him, but none of them could do it as easily as he did. "Young man, if you join our moon pavilion, we will guarantee you more resources to increase your cultivation." The beautiful lady did not forget to recruit Yi Chun at all. Yi Chun smiled bitterly. "I'm not interested for now." "Then think about it. You won't lose anything anyway. If you think the moon pavilion is not good, you can leave any time." The beautiful lady was very confident in the moon pavilion. She believed that after Yi Chun joined, he would not want to leave. The problem was that he had not joined yet. Another half a day passed. A city with a circumference of 10 miles appeared in their sight. "We've arrived at the Iron City. We've finally arrived. Let's go in quickly. We'll be safe inside." The people who survived cherished their lives very much. All of them ran as if they had been injected with chicken blood, unlike before when they were on the verge of death. The beautiful lady flew into the air and shouted, "Open the city gate." Before the beautiful lady shouted a second time, the huge city gate opened. Groups of soldiers lined up on both sides. The leader said, "Everyone come in. Don't waste any time." After entering the Iron City, everyone let out a sigh of relief. Some of them had reached their limit and fainted. So many people. Looking at the overcrowded Iron City, Yi Chun was shocked. Tian Hao said, "It seems like everyone is gathered here. Next, we will have to fight against the beasts. I hope we can hold on. If there are no rank 7 beasts, it should not be a problem." An unknown clasping Yuan realm warrior nearby said. "Roar." The second Yi Chun and the group entered the city, countless beasts were running in the direction of the Yellow Mountain town. It was dark and horrifying. Within the beast wave, there were countless rank 5 beasts and hundreds of rank 6 beasts. What was even more horrifying was that behind the beasts, there was a huge shadow moving towards them. Wherever it went, the hills would collapse and the ground would start to rumble, as if there was a small earthquake. It was a 1,000-meter-long python with 2 long horns on its head. Its whole body was covered in greenish-yellow scales that were the size of basins. With a casual sweep of its tail, the ground would crack open and rocks would fly everywhere. From its mouth, a stinky smell would come out, forming countless dark cloud-like air currents that covered its entire body. Boom! The 2-horned python flew past the Yellow Mountain town. The whole town had been completely destroyed and turned into a flat ground within a second. It was impossible to tell that this town used to exist. Roar! 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 The beast's roar was earth-shattering as it jumped towards the Iron City. "What? There are rank 7 beasts here?" A late clasping Yuan realm warrior saw the 2-horned python from afar and was shocked. He hurried to perform his flying art and fly towards the Iron City. Swoosh! The 2-horned python stared at him without blinking. It opened its mouth, and an endless amount of beast chi gathered at its throat. Then, a pitch-black light column shot out. 10 miles of distance was covered within a blink of an eye. This late clasping Yuan realm warrior did not even make a sound before his body was burned into ashes. As if it was not satisfied yet, this 2-horned python shot out a few more pitch-black light columns, which pierced through the mountains nearby. Rocks started to fall from the top, and a loud rumbling sound was heard. The beast's speed was extremely fast, even faster than the crowd's traveling speed. Within half a day, they had already reached 10 miles away from the Iron City. The 2-horned python straightened its upper body, which was almost as tall as a mountain. It opened its mouth again and shot out another pitch-black light column, shooting towards the Iron City city wall that was 10 miles away. The city wall was shattered like tofu. Countless people had died under this black light column, including 3 clasping Yuan realm warriors. Some of the warriors recognized the 2-horned python and said in shock, "It is a rank 7 beast. Rank 7 beast, horned dragon python. How is this possible? How could there be a horned dragon python within 10,000 miles? How could we block the attack of a rank 7 beast? Let's just run. A lot of clasping Yuan realm warriors had pale faces as they started to think about running away. On the other side of the city wall, Yi Chen's heart sank. He had never thought that a rank 7 beast would appear out of nowhere, and this early. Even all of the clasping Yuan realm warriors in the city combined might not be able to kill a rank 7 beast. After all, martial geniuses like Xianhou were not easy to find. Plus, this rank 7 beast's power was still unknown. It might be as powerful as a mid-astral reaching realm warrior. Even a martial genius like Xianhou would not be able to fight against it. I wonder if I can beat a rank 7 beast after I reach the late clasping Yuan realm. According to Thunder Freer, it seems to be very hard. Even with the completed sword intent, I would only be able to run away and would not be able to fight against it. Yi Chen had never seen a rank 7 beast before, nor had he seen an astral-reaching realm warrior fight against one another. So, he could not tell how powerful a rank 7 beast or an astral-reaching realm warrior would be. Chapter 201. Obviously, the Iron City did not have a horrifying martial genius like Xianhou and could not fight against the rank 7 horned dragon snake with her late clasping Yuan realm power. When the horned dragon snake shot out the second pitch-black light column, some clasping Yuan realm warriors had finally escaped. For them, it was only a matter of time before the Iron City was destroyed. If they did not leave now, it would be hard for them to leave later, since they only had one life. Boom! Another pitch-black beam of light pierced through the void and landed on the huge city gate of Iron City. In the next moment, the 1-meter-thick city gate made of steel melted into ashes. The pitch-black beam of light didn't stop there. It went straight through the ground, all the way to the city lord's mansion in the center. The mansion was split in half, and everything within 10 meters of that line disappeared instantly. Not a single thing was left. The mayor is dead. Everyone run. What? The mayor is dead? What is the point of defending? Wait a bit longer. Maybe some astral-reaching realm warriors will come. The beast wave is not only around the Iron City. Other cities are also facing beast waves, and I am afraid there will not be any astral-reaching realm warriors to help. The beast wave had not even reached the city yet, but the people in the Iron City had already lost hope. We can't defend anymore. Let's run. Right next to Yi Chen, Tian Hao and the rest forced a smile. Yi Chen nodded. Since it has already happened, staying would be suicide. In the Yellow Mountain town, because there were no rank 7 beasts, they could still try their best to protect more people. But right now, who could they protect if they stayed? In front of rank 7 beasts, clasping Yuan realm warriors would only be ants, unless there were enough of them to kill an elephant. The sky darkened, and a pitch-black light column suddenly shot out towards Yi Chen's direction. Watch out! Yi Chen's body flashed, leaving a Zhunqi shadow where he was standing. Tian Hao and the lady's reactions were just below Yi Chen's. They pushed their flying art to its limit, moving towards the right side at a high speed. Swoosh! The other clasping Yuan realm warriors did not manage to react in time before they were devoured by the black light column along with the city wall. Tian Hao's face was pale. He had reacted fast enough, but it was not fast enough. At that critical moment, Yi Chen had pushed him, allowing him to avoid the attack range of the black light column. Looking at the edge of the city wall that had been melted, Tian Hao was still scared. He turned his head and said to Yi Chen with gratitude, "I owe you a life. I will pay you back someday." Yi Chen did not say anything. He seemed to have sensed something, so he turned his head and looked towards the sky. Yi Chen said nothing. Astral-reaching realm warriors are coming. Yi Chen let out a breath. In the sky, realm, Chun clan king, and the Black Clan ye have City Emperor, and ye clan have realm warriors. King Dragon King with clan, Chun realm dragon. The speed of the flame was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, it was still thousands of meters away. In the blink of an eye, the figure in the flame was already clearly visible. It was like a huge fireball shooting over. Seeing that, Tian Hao activated his Zhunqi and said with a loud voice, "Don't despair. The astral-reaching realm warriors from the Alchemist Martial School are here to help." It is true. There really are astral-reaching realm warriors in the Iron City. The Firelight's momentum was so great that not long after, everyone could feel its astonishing aura and scorching temperature. The horned dragon python in the herd also noticed the firelight. Its eyes were cold as it locked onto the location of the firelight. Then, it opened its mouth and spat out a pitch-black pillar of light. "Break!" A voice was heard from within the fire. Right after that, a huge flame-like blade sliced through the air, clashing with the black light column. Boom! That horrifying blast wave brought up layers of dirt. A huge pit with a radius of hundreds of meters and a depth of dozens of meters had appeared on the ground. Shoo! The fire disappeared, and a human figure appeared right next to Tian Hao. It was an elder in his 60s, wearing a long robe with fire patterns on his sleeves. Tian Hao said with respect, "Great master." The elder nodded and said with a serious tone, "Tell everyone to leave the Iron City and head to the Gold Tripod City. That is the only place we can defend." "What? With the great master here, we will definitely be able to defend the Iron City." Tian Hao was a bit shocked. He did not expect the elder to say that. The elder sighed. "If it were other rank 7 beasts, I would have the confidence to fight with or even beat them. But this horned dragon snake is extremely powerful, almost equivalent to a mid-astral reaching realm warrior. I can only stall it for a while. Once it drags on, even I will have to run away." Even Grand Elder couldn't defeat it. Tian Hao gasped. Yichen was speechless. Running away to the Gold Tripod City with 1,000,000 people was definitely not a good idea. During the beast wave, there would be beasts everywhere outside the city. Not to mention 1,000,000 people. Even if there were 10 million people, they would still be slaughtered. But the opponent had made it clear that he could only stall the horned dragon snake for a while and would not be able to beat it. In other words, they would die either way. The fate of the Iron City's population had already been decided. As the two were talking, the horned dragon snake's second attack had arrived. Shoo! The black light column flashed once before disappearing, and the sky started to darken. "Hurry up and get out of here. I can only hold it for 15 minutes. The old man rose from the ground, and a flaming machete appeared in his hand. The machete drew a stunning arc in the void and slashed at the pitch-black pillar of light. The black light column had been shattered once again, and the elder flew towards the beast with the blade in his hand. With Tian Hao's warning, everyone knew about this fact. They had to open the other 3 city gates and get ready to run towards the Gold Tripod City. Soon, everyone had returned to the Iron City. It turned out that there were beast waves coming from the other 3 directions as well. There were millions of them, and they had completely surrounded the Iron City. Not to mention normal people, even late clasping Yuan realm warriors might not be able to get out. This is bad. On the city wall, all of the clasping Yuan realm warriors looked pale. Before, they were still able to escape with their own power. But now, there were so many beasts everywhere, and some of them were even top rank 6 beasts. There was no way they could escape. If they had known this earlier, they would have escaped earlier. Rumble. The beasts were running extremely fast. Within the time it took to drink half a pot of tea, the Iron City had been completely surrounded. In the sky, under the city wall, every inch of space was filled with all kinds of beasts. The first ones to suffer were the warriors on the city wall. Almost within a second, hundreds of them had been torn into pieces by the flying beasts, including an early clasping Yuan realm warrior. It was a rank 6 beast, the 4-legged flamingo, that had killed him. Tornado broke in clouds. Facing all of those flying beasts, Yi Chun chose to attack with a large area of effect. He threw out a sword attack, and the sword chi twisted the air, forming a huge tornado. Shoo! 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 All the beasts below rank 5 would be sucked in once they got close to the tornado. They would be sliced into pieces. Although the rank 5 beasts had high defense, they still could not keep their bodies steady. They were shakily spinning around the tornado and were eventually killed by the sword chi. Oh, an earth-shattering wolf howl was heard, which shocked Yi Chun and the rest of them. They could not help but look into the distance. Above the crowd of beasts, a gigantic demonic wolf was flying towards the Iron City. It was indeed one of the tyrants of the rank 6 beasts, the Wind Wolf. Before the rest of them could react, another roar was heard. The ground started to shake violently, and a demonic bear that was even bigger than the Wind Wolf jumped into the air. It was like a dark cloud pressing down on the Iron City. The aggressive chi made all of the flying beasts in the sky scatter, not daring to come closer. Top rank 6 beast, Wind Wolf. Top rank 6 beast, Black Bear. The lady mumbled. Tianhao took a deep breath and said, "Guys, if we don't run now, we will not have another chance." The Wind Wolf and the Black Bear were both tyrants of the rank 6 beasts. With their power, they would not be able to fight against them at all. Plus, as more and more beasts appeared, no one could tell if there would be more top rank 6 beasts. Yichin glanced at the Iron City behind him and said helplessly, "Let's run." Shoo, shoo, shoo. While they were talking, most of the clasping Yuan realm warriors in the Iron City had performed their flying arts, running towards a place where there were fewer beasts. Yi Chun and the other two followed closely behind the rest of them. The few clasping Yuan realm warriors in the front were suddenly entangled by a long and thin tongue. The tongue was covered with thorns, and with a slight pull, their bodies were torn apart. It is a top-rank 6 beast, the three-eyed toad. Run. Hearing him, everyone, including Yi Chun, increased their speed to their limit. They did not dare to stay for even a second longer. This place was no longer a place where clasping Yuan realm warriors could run freely. Only astral-reaching realm warriors could come and go as they pleased. In the next 10 minutes, 200 clasping Yuan realm warriors were either injured or killed. There were less than 100 left, and most of them had died under the claws of the rank 6 beasts. Some of them had been badly wounded and had fallen into the beast groups, killed by countless low-rank beasts. Supreme Shocking Cloud. Burning Field Cut. Are cut. Yi Chun and the other two were not having good time either. Although they had carefully avoided the top rank 6 beasts, they were soon surrounded by a group of rank 6 beasts, falling into a crisis. On the other side, the battle between the great master of the alchemist martial school and the horned dragon snake had reached its climax. The horned dragon snake was not only extremely powerful in long-range attacks, but also in close combat. Its 100-meter-long tail swept across the air, blowing away all the air within 1,000 meters radius, turning it into a vacuum world. In this vacuum world, everything seemed to be weightless. The elder yelled, the flame on his body burning fiercely. It was more than 50% stronger than before, and his whole body looked like a human-shaped fire pillar. Boom! A blade attack landed on the horned dragon snake's tail, and the elder was blown away. With that momentum, his body flashed, jumping towards Yi Chun and the other two. Go! He waved his hand to kill all the rank 6 beasts surrounding them, then grabbed Tianhao and rushed out of the encirclement with a speed that was a couple of times faster than the speed of sound. Yi Chun and the lady looked at each other and forced a smile. They did not have that kind of insane speed, and they did not dare to follow behind the elder. Who knew if the horned dragon snake would launch a long-range attack after them? Just as they had expected, a pitch-black light column shot over, shooting towards the elder. Along with a loud boom, the elder and Tianhao's bodies disappeared. Let's leave as well. If the horned dragon snake catches up with us, we will definitely die. Yeah. Yi Chun and the lady flew side by side, trying their best to avoid the top rank 6 beasts. They did not dare to kill too many of them, as they were afraid that the horned dragon snake would notice them. Chapter 202. There are too many beasts, and we can't make too much noise. Looking at the horde of demonic beasts and the demonic energy that blotted out the sky, the beautiful woman could not help but frown. Yichin also felt troubled. The horned dragon snake was not far behind them. Once they made too much noise, it would definitely notice them. By then, no matter how powerful they would not be able to escape death. Then, they could only use their separating shadow flying art. Without much hesitation, Yichun reached out his hand and grabbed the lady's slim hand. His body shook a little, and a series of Zhen Qi shadows appeared in the air. His real body had already carried the lady and rushed out. His speed was not that fast, but he was like a fish swimming in the water, avoiding the beast's encirclement. You. The lady subconsciously wanted to take back her hand, but she realized that Yi Chan was performing a special flying art, so she gave up. She used her Jinqi to talk to Yi Chan. Although this flying art is special and can create Jinqi shadows, it can also attract the attention of the surrounding beasts. You should know that some of the beasts can see through you. Yi Chan said, "How would you know if you don't try?" Shoo, shoo, shoo. The two silhouettes flickered in and out of existence. A lot of low-ranked beasts were dazzled and bumped into each other. Shoo! Right at this moment, a slender object swept over with a speed as fast as a spark. Watch out! The lady held her breath. She was not unfamiliar with that long and thin object. It was the tongue of the top-ranked sixth beast, the three-eyed toad. The three-eyed toad's third eye could see through reality. As long as one's cultivation level was not too much higher than its own, no matter how many tricks one used, one would not be able to fool it. The tongue that was covered in barbs was too fast. The moment the lady's voice was heard, the tongue had already wrapped around the two's bodies and slightly tightened. Swoosh! The two's bodies were torn apart, but they were Jinqi shadows. The lady was surprised. "How did you avoid it?" Yi Chan said, "As long as the speed of the tongue is not faster than my reaction speed, I have a way to avoid it. You do not have to worry about that." "Hee, you really don't want to consider joining our moon pavilion?" The lady tried to persuade Yi Chan to join their organization. "Let's get out of here first." Yi Chan had consumed a lot of his true qi shadows. After all, these shadows needed true qi to maintain, and in a short period of time, he had already lost dozens of true qi shadows. Shoving a pill into his mouth that could instantly replenish his Jinqi, Yi Chan increased the output of his Jinqi, pushing his speed to the limit that he could reach. Xiao! With the help of the Jinqi shadows, the two of them passed through the dense demonic qi and arrived at the edge of the beast tide. "We finally escaped." The beautiful woman took a deep breath. Yi Chan had no intention of letting go of her hand. He took her and flew towards the nearby mountains. The beautiful woman said with a smile that was not a smile, "Little brat, we have already escaped from the encirclement. How long are you going to hold my hand?" "Although I don't mind." Yi Chan said calmly, "If you want to die, you can let go." "What do you mean?" The beautiful woman knew that Yi Chan would not speak without thinking. "It's simple. We have been targeted by the horned dragon snake. Luckily, it did not catch up. The horned dragon snake was a rank 7 beast. Speed was not its specialty, but for it to chase after two clasping Yuan realm warriors, it was as easy as drinking water. I guess it did not want to chase after two small fries like us." The beautiful woman indeed did not dare to let go of her hand. Without Yi Chen's separating shadow flying art, it was very likely that she would die. After all, she had seen how Yi Chan had brought her out of the encirclement with her own eyes. Among the beasts, the horned dragon snake's upper body stood straight up like a sky pillar. A pair of cold eyes pierced through the demonic qi, locking onto Yi Chan and the beautiful woman who were in the distance. Just like the beautiful woman had said, as a rank 7 beast, it did not want to chase after the two personally. All it needed to do was let out a beam of demonic qi. It opened its huge mouth, and an endless amount of demonic qi gathered. The horned dragon snake shot out a pitch-black light column, which broke through the demonic qi blockade within a second and appeared miles away. Yi Chan was as calm as still water as he yelled with a low voice. "Explode!" The two's bodies suddenly exploded, and a huge amount of afterimages shot out in all directions. Pooh! More than 80% of the afterimages did not manage to escape the attack range of the pitch-black light column, and they all disappeared within a second. The power of the pitch-black light column did not decrease at all, and it even pierced through a steep mountain that was even further away. Amidst the layers of mountains, because of the beast wave, there were no more beasts in the places where the beasts used to gather. Wah! Yi Chan could not help but puke out a mouthful of blood anymore. His body started to wobble. Grabbing Yi Chen's arm, the beautiful woman brought him down onto the rugged mountain road. "You are wounded." The beautiful woman was still shocked before, but now she knew what kind of price she had to pay to perform that attack. Shoving an expensive healing pellet that was worth tens of thousands of gold into his mouth. Yi Chen sat on the ground with his legs crossed and said with a pale face, 3 Zhenqi afterimages is my normal limit. 5 Zhenqi afterimages will make my Zhenqi chaotic. Just now, I had used so many Zhenqi afterimages at once, and my meridians and internal organs were injured quite badly. Help me protect me. I need to adjust my condition first. All right, aren't you afraid that I will hurt you? Yi Chen said, you can try. Never mind, you are so calm. You must have a backup plan. The beautiful woman shook her head. She had not known Yi Chen for long, and no matter what kind of danger he had encountered, she had never seen him panic. With her experience, she naturally knew that Yi Chen was not someone to be messed with. Plotting against him would be extremely difficult, not to mention that she had never really thought about killing him for money. Closing his eyes, Yi Chen quickly entered the healing state. 2 hours later, Yi Chen let out a breath that had a slight smell of blood and slowly stood up. This is not a good place to stay. Let's go to the big city. The beautiful woman nodded. During the beast wave, there will be endless amounts of beasts coming. This time, it will not be a simple small beast wave. Shoo! Shoo! The two of them used their qing gong and flew far away. Not long after the two of them left, 2 human figures appeared in the iron city that had been razed to the ground. Sai, we are late. Including the iron city, there are already 20 cities that have been destroyed. The death toll is over 30 million. Judging from the degree of destruction in the cities, there should be a rank 7 beast that passed by. Luckily, there were no rank 8 beasts. Otherwise, even some medium-sized cities would not be able to hold on. A small beast wave will not have many rank 7 beasts. This time, it is a special case. There are more than 10 rank 7 beasts. There is no sign of a beast wave, and those martial institutions that are too far away have not received the news yet. We will have to be busy and kill this rank 7 beast first. Yeah, it doesn't matter if we are busy. The two of them flashed and disappeared. Their speed was much faster than the great master of the alchemist martial school. During the beast wave, there would be no safe zone within 10,000 miles. Usually, the moment one got out of danger, another group of beasts would arrive. Our cut. After killing a rank 6 beast, the beautiful woman forced a smile. Going through dozens of battles in one day, I am afraid we will be exhausted to death before we even reach the big cities. Yi Chen did not say anything. In the past couple of days, they did not dare to fly in the sky, since it would be too obvious. It might even attract the top rank 6 beasts and rank 7 beasts. However, their traveling speed was extremely slow. On average, they could only travel 1,000 to 2,000 miles a day, and it was still not completely safe. They would be discovered by small groups of beasts from time to time. In a couple of days, when the astral-reaching realm warriors from other areas arrive, the situation should be much better. The beautiful woman said, indeed, the beast wave had happened too suddenly. If there had been a sign, then there would not have been so many deaths. On their way, countless villages and towns had been ravaged by the beasts. The smell of blood was everywhere, making it look like hell on earth. Yi Chen sighed slightly. Before, he had tried so hard to bring people from 3 villages to the Iron City, but they still could not escape death. In front of the beast wave, warriors below the clasping Yuan realm would not be able to protect themselves at all. Once they were surrounded by a huge amount of beasts, even clasping Yuan realm warriors would not be able to escape. According to the beautiful woman's analysis, this was only a small beast wave with a lot of rank 7 beasts. A medium beast wave would be 10 times bigger than a small one, with a lot of rank 8 beasts and even rank 9 beasts. Moo! A demonic cow with wings on its back dove towards Yi Chen. That powerful beast Qi had shaken up the air, bringing up patterns everywhere. Lone peak kill. Facing the beast's attack, Yi Chen looked normal as he stabbed out a sword attack. The beast could feel the power of that sword attack and was about to dodge it. But then it realized that no matter how hard it tried, it would not be able to get out of the attacking range of that sword attack. It was like Yi Chen was standing on top of a tall mountain. With the height of the mountain, that sword attack was filled with killing intent. Swoosh! A sword hole appeared on its forehead. The beast's body shook a little before it fell down. The beautiful woman's eyes lit up. I don't remember you performing this attack before. It is not that powerful, but it would still be hard for me to dodge it. I just learned it. Yichin said vaguely. The Lone Peak kill was actually a combination of the 7 movements of the Lone Peak 13 swords. It was a combined sword movement. A long time ago, he had tried to combine sword movements, but he realized that the rank of the Sky Cloud sword art was too high. With his current cultivation and knowledge, he would not be able to combine it. Therefore, he had to start with the top rank Mortal Realm sword art, the Lone Peak 13 swords. Before the Beast Wave, he had only combined 4 movements of the Lone Peak kill. Its power was only about the same as the last 3rd movement of the Sky Cloud sword art, which was not that powerful. In the past couple of days of killing, he had killed thousands of beasts. Finally, he had combined 3 sword movements again. His power had instantly surpassed the Sky Cloud sword art, and was only weaker than the one sword attack, which consumed his mind power. Compared to the one sword attack's extreme speed and high attacking power, the Lone Peak kill's poetic perspective was even higher, and it complemented his entry-level sword intent. As for why, Yichin knew it very well. When he first learned the sword intent, it was actually because of the poetic perspective of the Lone Peak 13 swords. Therefore, the sword intent and the poetic perspective of the Lone Peak 13 swords were more or less related. As long as I combined the Lone Peak 13 swords into one movement, its power would definitely be more powerful than the one sword attack. But of course, it would only be temporary. The one sword attack would improve along with my cultivation, and its power would increase as well. Sooner or later, it would surpass the one sword attack. Killing beasts after beasts, Yichin thought to himself. Swoosh! Another mid-level level 6 demonic beast was assassinated without the slightest bit of resistance. Chapter 203. As the days passed, the number of demonic beasts increased. Within a radius of more than 20,000 li, there were traces of demonic beasts everywhere, covering the sky and covering the earth. The Gold Tripod City was the only big city within the Beast Waves area. It was more than 100 miles in both width and length, which was even bigger than the Wind City and the Happy City in the Windy Nation. The population had reached an astonishing 15 million, which was equivalent to the total population of 20 small cities. On the streets, clasping Yuan Realm warriors could be seen everywhere, and condensing reality realm warriors were everywhere. As for the astral reaching realm warriors, they were not that rare anymore. Look, is it that the inner master of the sky, flying devil martial school, the Black Crow Man? The one beside him should be the fire spirit, right? The two of them used to be enemies decades ago. I did not expect that they would become good friends walking side by side today. Martial geniuses would usually compete with each other. The Black Crow Man and the Fire Spirit were both considered mid-level martial geniuses back in the day. It was because they did not want to lose that they managed to break through to the mid-astral reaching realm together. You are right. If a martial genius does not have a martial genius opponent, they would lose their passion very soon. Once there are a lot of martial geniuses, it would be easier for a martial genius to appear. As for the discussions, the Black Crow Man had always chosen to ignore them. He laughed and said, "Fire Spirit, you have killed one less rank 7 beast than me. It seems like I still have the advantage." The Fire Spirit said seriously, "You have only killed 3 rank 7 beasts. One of the 2 beasts I have killed was a top rank 7 beast. Regardless, it is a fact that I have killed more rank 7 beasts than you." The Black Crow Man did not let go of this point. The Fire Spirit was filled with a battling intent. Why don't we fight again? A couple of months ago, we did not have a winner. This time, we might have to fight for a winner. Who is afraid of you? After the Beast Wave, you can choose the location. The two entered a restaurant and were still bickering. The manager did not dare to disturb the two, so he followed behind with a smile. "Manager, let's sit here. Give us some dishes that go well with the wine and some good wine." The two of them sat by the window, and the Black Crow Taoist ordered the manager. "All right, it will be ready soon." The shopkeeper nodded and bowed as he retreated. Looking at the warriors walking on the street, the Fire Spirit suddenly sighed. time flies so fast. Decades have passed in a blink of an eye. Yeah, being able to reach late astral reaching realm in this lifetime is already our limit. We won't be able to reach higher realms. To be able to reach late astral reaching realm, I'm already very satisfied. Speaking of which, we are not considered powerful geniuses. The powerful geniuses are mostly Sea of Soul realm experts. Not at all. I thought Xuanho's generation was the peak of all the martial geniuses. But now, it seems that the current generation of martial geniuses is the real peak, even comparable to the ancient era. For example, the Fire Spirit Prince of your Fire Spirit Martial School, he has already reached the peak level late clasping Yuan realm at the age of 22. He is even more talented than the head disciple of my Sky Flying Devil Martial School. The Black Crow Man complimented. The Fire Spirit shook his head. There is still a long way to go. I think only the last hidden dragon rank warrior from the South River region could catch up with Xuanho. But it is only a possibility, since Xuanho had already reached the astral reaching realm at the age of 18. No one in the whole true spirit continent had ever broken this record. In the past 1,000 years, no one had been able to do it. No one had been able to do it in the past 1,000 years. It is indeed the highest honor. But Xuanho is a special case after all. Judging from the number and quality of the martial geniuses, this generation is indeed the peak. Soon, the food and drinks were served. The two ate and chatted at the same time. They were only 500 miles away from the Gold Tripod City. Yi Chun and the beautiful lady had once again fallen into a crisis. This time, they were facing a top-ranked 6 beast, the Iron Scale Beast, which looked like a dog and was covered in black scales. Arclight rain cut. The lady extended her body, waving the curved blade in her hand for hundreds of times within a second. Countless arc-shaped blade chi landed on the iron scale beast's body like a heavy rain. Ding! Dang! Countless sparks appeared. The lady's blade chi could only leave a slight mark on the iron scale beast's body. She could not even break its scales. We can't do it anymore. This iron scale beast is not as powerful as the Wind Wolf, but it is still not something we can handle. Yi Chen's body kept moving, looking for the weak spots of the iron scale beast. Hearing her, he said, 500 miles is not that far. You go to the Gold Tripod City first, I will stall the beast. The iron scale beast did not have the bloodline of an ancient beast, so it could not be counted as a tyrant of the rank 6 beasts. But normal peak level late, clasping Yuan realm warriors would have a high chance of dying if they encountered it. Only martial geniuses who had trained even more powerful martial skills would be able to beat it. Of course, some peak-level late, clasping Yuan realm warriors who had no hope of reaching the astral reaching realm and had spent a lot of time studying powerful martial skills could also beat it, or even kill it. However, one of them was a mid-clasping Yuan realm warrior, and the other was a peak-level early clasping Yuan realm warrior. In terms of cultivation, they were completely suppressed by the Iron Scale Beast. In terms of power, they were also completely suppressed. If it were not for Yi Chen's flying art, which allowed him to create Zhenqi shadows to confuse his opponent, he would have been torn into pieces already. The lady was shocked. You can handle it by yourself? I have more than 50% chance of escaping. Yi Chen said. After hesitating for a while, the lady said, My name is Guo Lanyue, one of the attendants of the Moon Pavilion. This time, I owe you a favor. If you have any trouble in the future, you can come find me at the Moon Pavilion. She knew that Yi Chen's flying art was very powerful. If he was alone, he would have a great chance of escaping. If he brought her along, it would be troublesome. You be careful. Pushing her Zhenqi, Guo Lanyue extended her body and flew out like a flying bird. Roar! The Iron Scale Beast was annoyed by Yi Chen. Seeing that Guo Lanyue had escaped from the battle, a red flame flashed through its eyes. It opened its mouth and let out a pile of burning beast chi. Woo! The air twisted intensely as the red beast chi followed right behind Guo Lanyue. Guo Lanyue had performed some kind of flying art. Her body flashed once, and she suddenly changed her trajectory. The red beast chi brushed past her and destroyed all of her protective Zhenqi. Luckily, It was only the aftermath of the beast chi, which did not hurt her at all. After flashing a couple of times, she had already appeared miles away. Lone Peak Kill. While the Iron Scale Beast was distracted, Yichen lifted up his Star Scar sword and stabbed right into the beast's neck. There was a gray spot there, which was indeed its weak spot. Not good. Separate. The Star Scar sword was stuck after piercing 5 inches in. Yichen's body shook a little as he separated into 3 Zhenqi shadows, while his real body backed out quickly. Boom! 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 The Iron Scale Beast had only used 1 claw attack to tear apart Yichen's 3 Zhenqi shadows. These days, the Lone Peak Kill has combined another 2 sword movements. Its power has increased tremendously, but it is still not enough to hurt the Iron Scale Beast. The merging speed of the Lone Peak Kill was getting slower and slower. In the first couple of days, he had combined 3 movements in a row, but now he had only combined 2. Without Yichen's expectation, it would be even more difficult for him to combine the 10th and 11th movements. It would not be surprising if the difficulty was doubled. No matter what, with that sword attack, the Iron Scale Beast had still been slightly wounded. Although it was not a big deal, how could it not be angry? It opened its mouth and spewed out beams of red beast chi towards Yichen. The huge amount of red beast chi looked like a perfect balsam flower in the air, with a huge attacking range. There was nowhere to hide, nowhere to run. Yichen bit on his teeth as he pushed his mysterious Zhenqi with all of his power. He built layers after layers of Zhenqi barriers in front of him, each 1/2 inch thick. Pop, 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 pop. The speed of Yichen's Zhenqi barriers could not keep up with the speed of the red beast chi breaking through. In a split second, only the last 3 Zhenqi barriers were left. The remaining power of the red beast chi had not disappeared yet, and it continued to break through the defense. Meanwhile, the Iron Scale Beast had already jumped over. It raised its right claw and attacked towards Yichen. 1 sword attack. Holding the sword with both of his hands, Yichen had never been so focused before. His whole soul seemed to have been infused with the sword aura and sword intent. He threw out a sword attack towards the red beast chi and the Iron Scale Beast. Chin. The second the Zhenqi barrier disappeared, the sword light shone even brighter. It was like a blue lightning striking down, clashing with the Iron Scale Beast's huge claw. Sparks flew everywhere as Yichen was blown away, puking out a mouthful of blood. Surprisingly, the Iron Scale Beast could not stop its body either, and was forced to move back 1/2 meter. Before, Yichen's attack could only shake its body slightly, and this time, the sword light was even more powerful. Even Yichen did not expect that he would be able to throw out a sword attack like this. I can feel that my sword intent has improved again. If 30% of the sword intent is the entry-level sword intent, then I should be at 40% now. 99% would be the entry-level sword intent, and 100% would be the completion-level sword intent. While his body was being pushed back, many thoughts flashed through Yichen's mind. Sword intent was a very mysterious thing. Only those who had the sword intent would be able to sense the level of their own or other people's sword intent. The others could only analyze it through comparison. Just then, when he had completely infused his mind into the sword intent and the sword aura, Yichen's sword intent had improved. It seemed to be more concentrated and condensed, and the sword light had become even more powerful. All right, although a lot of people had died in the beast wave, it was also a good training for me. I might be able to learn the entry-level sword intent in a shorter time. There is no difference in the power of the entry-level sword intent and the completion-level sword intent. However, the completion-level sword intent was the only way to reach a higher level. I made a breakthrough. After realizing what had just happened, Yichen suddenly realized that his Zhenqi had been circulating faster. The Zhenqi spiral inside his dantian had expanded, and the color in the center had become even darker. Gradually, it looked like a star, which was the sign of reaching the mid-clasping Yuan realm. Only those who walked out from mountains of corpses and oceans of blood are truly powerful warriors. This saying was not wrong at all. After 1/2 month of killing, Yi Chun had accumulated a lot of power. If he had trained for a while, he would have reached the mid-clasping Yuan realm sooner or later. However, under the pressure of the Iron Scale Beast, his speed had been pushed forward. There is only a slight difference between the mid-clasping Yuan realm and the peak-level early-clasping Yuan realm. However, Yi Chun was already one of the top warriors in all aspects. Even the slightest improvement in his cultivation would have a great impact on his power. With his current power, he could easily beat the Iron Scale Beast before. Right now, the Iron Scale Beast was extremely furious. Burning red beast chi gathered around its body as it jumped towards Yi Chun at an extremely fast speed, trying to kill Yi Chun with one claw attack. Shoo! Its huge body turned into a shooting star. The Iron Scale Beast's speed had suddenly reached beyond the speed of sound. The black scales on its body started to shine with a red light. Great! I also want to see how powerful I am now. Without stepping back, Yi Chun threw out a sword attack with all of his power. As the sword attack was thrown out, a bright blue sword light shone brightly. Even the air had been torn apart, and the space in front of Yi Chun turned into a vacuum.